Explain for those who haven't read the book. Yeah, we'll get there. Hold on. Oh, here, hold on. I'm trying to... Anytime I turn my computers off for like days, like I have to... All my audio, everything gets all fucked and blah, blah, blah. Talk about how this year could have been way less dramatic. Could have aged better. No, actually, it actually played directly into my point if you'd ever listened to a single thing I said about it, but I understand. We all have our selective hearing, okay? And I'm on Vyvanse, so I'm not even going to ban you for the comment, even though you were missed the point of everything I said. Okay. Do you pre-watch Life? What is this? Oh, wait, hold on. I need it. My audio shit is not working here. I don't know why. Give me a second. Run normally. Why tweet about buying illegal drugs? Can't you go to a pharmacy? I'm trying to find, I have to get a new doctor on my prescription. That's the only issue I have right now. She wants to prescribe me, it was either 10 or 20 milligrams of Vyvanse. I'm like, bro, and now she wants to switch me to Adderall when I said I do way better on more Vyvanse. I'm like, why the fuck would I switch to Adderall when I know that this works perfectly and has for like over a month? Why the fuck would you switch me to a whole different drug? Fuck that. But I had a good personal 3-hour therapy session yesterday, and I talked to my therapist, and she knows doctors. I talked to her about my everything. So what was her reason for switching? I don't want to make assumptions, so I don't know. It feels like for her, by the way, if you're a trans person, you want to come back and shit on me about all the comments I made about endocrinology and doctors and shit, I might be convinced to walk all of those back. But she made it sound like the sound to me in her... Wait, hold on, real quick. Self-diagnosing now, genius. Okay, so I'm not even gonna ban you. Number one, technically I'm not self-diagnosed. I am diagnosed by somebody else with ADHD. If you're talking about self-medicating, yeah, you figure out like the appropriate dose of a medicine that helps you. The only difference is I didn't titrate up to it normally because I started out on a pretty high dose. But I was gonna say the issue for her is it feels like she thinks that Adderall and Vyvanse are of the same potency. That's what it felt like when I was talking to her. So like, for instance, she seemed to say she was uncomfortable with me being at Vyvanse at 60 milligrams, but she'd be comfortable prescribing me Adderall XR at 40 milligrams, which is way more intense. Like if I do 20 milligrams of Adderall XR right now, and I tried one of these a week ago, I actually feel super fine. It's about 60 milligrams of Vyvanse for me. The idea of doubling that, of doing 40 milligrams of Adderall XR, that sounds fucking insane. But it sounds like in her head, she just thinks that like the potency or everything is like the exact same. Yeah, I have no idea how you started out at 70. I didn't start at 70. I started at 20 milligrams of Adderall, and now I do 60 milligrams of Vyvanse. I've been doing that for about a month and a half. I understand for side effects and everything. The thing is, the only reason why I haven't like backed it down to 40 is because one, I didn't feel much, or I didn't really feel anything at 40. But also, I have like no negative side effects. I'm not like shaky. I can sleep just fine. My mood is super elevated. Like every single thing in my life is like super good. So like, I don't know why I would change my medication or do something different. That drives me crazy. But okay, hold on. We were trying to get volume working and it's not. What happens when you take too much? I don't know. I've never taken too much of like, or I've never tried like, I mean, I can tell you what MDMA feels like, or I can tell you what it felt like when I did, dextroamphetamine with Mel. It was probably dextroamphetamine. It probably wasn't methamphetamine. Or maybe it was. Maybe. I'm still not sure what we did in Amsterdam. I don't think it was meth. I think it might have been dextroamphetamine, but I'm not sure. Okay, hold on. Dex doesn't last that long. Yeah, but I don't know if meth does either now when I look at it. Because apparently meth should be up and down like within 12 hours. Whatever we were on, we were high for so long. It was at least 16 hours, if not 24. Like, I remember the next morning, like, looking in the window, and I was like, whoa, my shit was fucked. I was so high. Yeah. Is your doc a GP or a psych? Supposedly, it's a psychiatrist, but now I'm not sure, because I feel like she should know a lot more about it. But I don't know. Okay, I don't know. Hold on. You're distracting me. We got sounds... Should you get banned off Kick for making these types of jokes? Hold on. Test. This works. This doesn't work. Why? What are we sending sound out to? Digital audio output, that's right. Recording should be digital audio here. Properties. Ah, do I have to click this, the listen? Oh, it's this, okay. And then the sample is fucked. Hold on. Gotcha. Okay, there we go. We're good. All right, let me do this real quick.
You're...
Wait, what the fuck? What just popped up on this? Okay, sorry, hold on. How are you? I'm glad you're back. Sorry about the divorce. Yeah, Scott, hold on. We'll get to that. Let me just watch this real quick.
You're just delusional. I'm not gonna shut up. If you want me to shut up, grind harder and outview me and take my platform. You're right. I'm dog shit. You're better, so then go live and take my platform and shut me up. But you can't because everything I'm saying is right. I guess I'll just farm Tech W emotes in an Ice Poseidon chat at fucking 1 in the goddamn morning. I guess that's how it's gonna go down. I'm a maniac for democracy, and you're a terrorist. And I can't wait for this shit to end. I'm posting on Twitter every fucking day. Every time I see someone post about the baby bombings in Palestine, I like the tweet and I put the 100 emoji. Because they're doing God's work for real. They're taking care of a problem. It's like getting chemotherapy before you were diagnosed with cancer. That's the best way I can explain it. Thank God for modern tech.
Wait, what did he say here to get him banned or whatever? Did I miss something? I'm sorry, fuck, people are putting on megalols in chat. Hold on.
I put the 100 emoji. Because they're doing God's work for real. They're taking care of a problem. It's like getting chemotherapy before you were diagnosed with cancer. That's the best way I can explain it. Thank God for modern tech.
Is he talking about like killing Palestinian babies? And like good for him? Is that what he's like championing or whatever? The joke is okay. Okay. I don't know, I don't care. Okay, so I've been writing a lot of manifestos lately. For that 5-hour therapy session, I'd written a huge, I think like, not huge, that's not fair. It was like 11 pages, okay, for our therapy session. And then I wrote a second one for basically like a ton of stuff that I wanted to cover today. Basically, what was the intro stuff that I'd written? Hold those abathurs. Hold those abathurs, guys. So basically, there are two kind of like huge issues that I had relating to anytime. First of all, I've said anytime if me and Melina separate, obviously everybody's going to have their reasons and their opinions, and it plays into literally whatever narrative you want. Because a lot of people I argue with, their narratives can explain literally, every single thing in life, even if the exact opposite they would predict would happen, has happened. People will, people will make whatever assumptions they think they need to make everything fit. Hold on. Also, if you've messaged me on Discord, I have not responded to anything in like 2 or 3 days, so don't feel bad about it, okay? So the couple things I want to talk about is that one is I feel like there is a public perception that exists of me in regards to me and Melina's relationship that I feel is very one-sided. I feel like Melina has made a lot of mistakes. I have as well. And I feel like the perception is always that like she's an abuse victim and I'm like this horrible, evil person that's difficult to get along with and blah, 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 blah. And that's like that's essentially, I feel like that's the public perception of our relationship. And that has been, and that if we ever broken up, like people are going to look at it as though like, oh, Melina was just like a victim. She escaped. Thank God. Like Steven is horrible, blah, 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 blah. Right. That perception really bothers me, given that I feel like we both made our fair share of mistakes. That super bothers me. And then the second thing had to do with that you fed into that, to be fair. I have fed into that. But a lot of it is because I feel like I'm always going to defend my wife, right? Like I'm not going to shit on her publicly, generally. I mean, unless we're like bantering. That's just like, that concept doesn't exist in my mind because the concept doesn't exist in my mind because my wife is my second half. Why would I want to shit on like my other half? I feel like it reflects poorly on me. Yeah. So basically, I wanted to kind of run down like differences in our relationship and things that I feel like were never really fair on my end, or things that I felt like kind of set me up to fail, or things that I've said that Melina has kind of contradicted, but it's actually true, and blah, 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 and like all this shit basically. I have like a decent collection of like pretty insane stories, and I had kind of written a whole bunch of shit down and blah, 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 blah. I had a 3-hour therapy session yesterday. My therapist, kind of like talking about things and organizing things and figuring out like what I wanted to do in terms of like everything going forward and blah, blah, blah. I'm going to be honest, okay? There's a lot of really crazy stories here that are really funny that I think paint me in a much different light than the public perception is of me, which is kind of annoys everything about me. Or it's annoying to me that everybody has perceptions. However, okay, I'm ready to lose. Here goes half my fan base today, okay? I got mega triggered by what I feel like was Melina telling me a lie 4 days ago, and I got unhinged, and I think I told her, I was like, listen, you need to be gone by the time I get back, get all your shit, leave, blah, 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 blah. I think I didn't want to sleep that night, and I didn't. I stayed up all night. I started like dumping shit in chat. Despite Mel saying things about me privately to other friends and things that I don't feel are fair, I think she is still doing, because I still hear this. I don't think it's my place. I shouldn't be like taking private relationship stuff and like airing that publicly. There's literally no reason to do this. I should have never done this when I was typing in chat. There's no reason for me to do like a public accounting of like a private relationship between me and Mel. As much as I think she's made some deplorable decisions over the past few months, I just don't think it's very fair for me to like, I'm going to do the Mel Manifesto and just completely shit on her and dump everything on blah, blah, blah. Which is absolutely cucked. And I understand that. I'll tell you, and listen, if you want to blame anybody, blame my therapist, because yesterday I was very close to doing a huge, like, we're going to talk about a lot of shit. Then I had I had a really long chat with my therapist, or our therapist, I guess, to try to like sort out my feelings, what I want in the future going forward, like what I think is like the best thing to do. And I basically completely 180'd after that conversation. And I'm like, I probably shouldn't take our whole relationship and then make it public. If for no other reason, basically what I'm looking to do is shit on Mel and attack her reputation to salvage mine, which I could do, but like, I don't know. I see like, obviously she's getting a ton of negative comments in all of her social medias, which sucks. The other guy is too. I don't care about him. He can kill himself. But my goal here like shouldn't be to like, I just don't think it's appropriate to do that. And Mel has never done that to me, to be fair. She's vague tweeted before, but there is no reason for, sorry. I of all the possible paths today that I discussed with a lot of people, I basically took the most cucked route. But out of whatever respect or undying love I still have for my wife, we'll see where that winds up, and we'll see where that ends up in a few months. I don't know, but okay. We can do like quick questions, I guess. I super cucked all of you. If you're here for like the huge Mel Manifesto or all the dumping of like my prior relationship shit, sorry, I wanted to, trust me. There was a part of me that was like, this is gonna be such a good fucking stream, and we're gonna have so much fun with this. There are so many wild things, blah 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 blah. Also, though, hold on. Let me say this, okay? While I say there are so many wild things that I believe were unfair and blah, 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 I don't mean in terms of like Mel is like murdered or raped and like insane, wacky shit. I just mean that like there's been a lot of things in our relationship that I feel like was unfair to me. But also like I haven't been perfect in the relationship either. And there are things that have like fucked with Mel really hardcore that I've done, or behaviors that I have that like for the reasons why she feels the way she does. So yeah. I don't mean to like I'm not trying to present this as though like actually I was totally innocent the entire time in the relationship and Mel was this horrible, evil, fucked up person. That's not true. I'm just saying we both had like our fair share of like dumb shit that we've done. Ugh, okay. Are you and Melina finalizing the divorce? I don't know. All I wanted was, because of things that have happened, I wanted a post-nuptial agreement signed where we were already like married for a short time. We got divorced. I don't think she would get anything, truly. But I just wanted a post-nuptial agreement signed so that all my shit is safe, so that I feel at least like I'm not going to get blindsided by some wild shit. Regardless of anger that I've had towards Melina or blah, blah, blah. Melina is never the kind of person, I don't think she would ever be the kind of person to like go after somebody's money, but she had no problem signing a post-nuptial agreement. So we signed all that. So like, I'm not like losing any of my shit, even if we do end up filing for divorce in a few months, because maybe we will, I don't know if we will or not. But yeah, that's all of that is, yeah, there's like, I'm not losing anything. Everybody keeps saying like you're losing half and blah, blah, blah. Do you feel any outside pressure to be careful about how you present this because you're a large poster boy for polygamy? Well, technically it's polyamory, not polygamy. I don't mind being a poster boy for certain relationship styles, but I've also, by the way, depending on what you say in my sub, I also permaban you in my sub for saying dumb shit. Just as a heads up, be careful on that. People will say like, it's the comic with, the XKCD comic with the girl doing math. I think somebody actually made this post on my subreddit. I think somebody made this on my subreddit where it's like, if a guy fucks up something in math, it's like, oh, guys suck at math. But if a girl fucks up something at math, then, oh, girls suck at math, right? No matter why my relationship style or relationship ends, and I said this before, it's always going to be blamed on it being an open relationship or whatever, which people want to, that's fine. But like, I had 4 really long-term relationships prior to this, and nobody said like, oh, that ended because it was that ended because they were closed relationships, or like when Crowder and his wife got divorced, like, oh, obviously it ended because it's a closed relationship. Like, that's dumb. So yeah, I don't know. If people want to say that like, it's because of this, that, I mean, everybody's free to make their guesses. But basically, I mean, I will say that every single thing that like Red Pillars predicted about my relationship, or every single thing that Red Pillars like said would happen, like literally the exact opposite of that happened the entire time. But like they'll also still try to find a way to twist it. Somebody linked a clip asking me how I predicted the future here, and I think I even know what this is referencing without saying it. But wait, hold on.
A lot of getting pussy, from my perspective, honestly, is just having the temperament to be able to hang out long enough. Forever, you will see a hot-ass chick with a loser-ass boyfriend, but that's a guy who just has the patience and the fucking lack of ambition that he just is down to just, like, his ambition is wanting to date a girl who's too good for him.
Dude, wait, when you have to, no, I'm sorry, you bring this up. One of the worst things when you are in your chasing years, you're trying to chase, so I would give up on these immediately. Right. When you see a girl, and there's another guy chasing that girl, and he's a fucking loser, and I'm like, this motherfucker's gonna spend all day texting her. He's gonna want to go and hang out for 6 hours. I'm on my career grind. I don't have fucking time for that. You're just like, fuck it. You win. You have it. I hated competing with those. And you're talking to the girl like, well, come on, what the fuck do you see this guy? He's like, yeah. Okay. I don't want to like dump on that too much. Sorry. I shouldn't fixate on that. That is true though. But I'm not gonna fixate on that. Okay. I'm already like making too many passive aggressive comments on it. Hold on. Let me read these donors real quick. Hi, to say person, I feel like there are certain things I thought Mel would never do, and that is exactly one of the reasons you put your eyes on her. Hopefully this goes fairly smoothly. When I got to know about this, it feels weird, and it still does. Hold on. Let me comment on all of these. What some called being cucked, I would call being an adult. Welcome to the divorce club, but sorry things didn't work out. I mean, I've already been divorced once, so technically, why did Mel Gibson do this? Are you worried about that backing down in terms of your rhetoric will give weight to whatever Mel decides to pull later? If she isn't the person you thought she was, why wouldn't you expect her to pull something? I don't think she's that kind of person. I have like theories. I think I actually have a really good understanding of like everything that's happened, but a lot of it is like very personal, and I don't want to like start like mind reading other people publicly in terms of everything, because it feels like like it's not appropriate to do that publicly. I'll say something that I said before that is still true and will be true of me in future relationships if I don't swear them off forever. And that is that I'm a very hard person to be with for 2 reasons. For one reason. It's really for one reason. And one is because I spend a lot of time working and like focusing on work and fixating on work. And that makes it really, really hard to be in a relationship with me, because the amount of attention and time you get from me is incredibly compromised, severely compromised. Even my friends complain about this. So that's a legitimate grievance to have, and I can understand why if you find somebody else that's willing to validate you more or show more compassion or give you more attention. I say give attention like it's a bad thing, but not like a bad thing, but like people will be drawn to that. That's like a really hard thing for me to compete with. As far as like a person on stream being related to me in any way, wouldn't that be crazy? Do you think she'll respect boundaries and refrain from airing anything out all over social media? Yeah, I don't think she would do that. Hey man, just some rando that just started watching stream, but I think it's a good thing you aren't diving into specifics. Yeah, I know. As much fun as it would be. What are the chances you get back together the next year? I have no idea. The thing is, I'm not even sure like where she's out on everything. I truly have no fucking idea. I have things that if we do a relationship going forward, there are a few like really big changes that I would want in a relationship that I feel more comfortable like, vocalizing now, and I don't know if she would want that or not. I have no idea. So that's a future Steven problem. So I'm not sure. Let's see. I'm not against poly relationship shit, but isn't it just statistically more likely for them to fail? This is something I've never understood. I need to spend time writing this thought down, although I don't really want to, because I don't actually hate arguing about anything related to relationships, because so many people have so little experience but have so many strong opinions about relationships, which are really annoying. One thing, hold on, I'm writing down questions as I see them. It's weird to me that people pretend like they have statistical evaluations for relationships, when I feel like relationships are like, we can talk about them broadly in a statistical sense, but I don't think we would ever choose them in a statistical sense. Like, I don't think there's ever in the history of mankind been a guy who's like, I would date this girl or this girl. However, this girl has a body count of 4. This girl has a body count of 6. According to the IFS, the Institute of Family Research Studies, it seems to be the case that I've got a 62% chance of breaking up with her and only a 58% chance of breaking up with her. But this one is college educated, so the chances of us breaking up actually decrease by 10%. But if we were to break up, it increases that she'll file for the divorce by 20 points. Like, nobody actually makes decisions like this in the real world. So it's weird sometimes to talk about relationships like them. Like, I think I'm comfortable saying, like, broadly speaking, I don't think there's a lot of like research around like poly or open stuff. But I think like the number that I seen get thrown around a lot, I don't know if it's actually a real study or not. The number I seen get thrown around is like there's like a 90% chance that those marriages end, right? So statistically speaking, this seems like they're probably pretty risky compared to the 50% chance that normal, ordinary marriage ends. But I don't think I would ever evaluate like a relationship like that. Like, what are the percentage chances? Because all of these things are very, 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 very personal, you know? Like, I'm not sure, actually, I'm making this up. But if I had to guess, like, interracial relationships probably have a higher chance of failure. But I would never not date, like, a Hispanic or a Black person or an Indian or an Asian person. Like, I would never not date somebody who's like, well, statistically speaking, like, I don't know if we're actually, like, I don't think I would ever think about it that way, yeah. Somebody said, do you think the relationship is permanently over? I don't know. That's for Mel to figure out. I'm not sure right now. I see this brought up a lot. Would you ever do open relationships again? The way that my brain is wired, the way that I like to spend time with people is I will probably always gravitate towards that relationship style. I have a really hard time imagining myself being in like a monogamous closed relationship. I don't think that might change in like 10 years. I don't know, maybe, but right now I definitely don't see that happening. Yeah. What would she have to publicly say about you for you to go, you know what, fuck it, Mila Festa? I mean, like, if I felt like she went, live and started like lying about me, obviously like, okay, well, now we have to have a conversation about this. You say you're super busy with work even for one partner, why not? Well, I feel like when you're poly or open, I feel like the expectation hopefully changes a bit on where you can draw attention from. So, yeah. Why does it seem like you're open for her coming back? I don't know. I'm not sure. Like, there's been a lot of changes over the past 4 months. I don't know how much is like her versus like other stuff going on. So she can go sort all that out, and just whatever. We'll see what happens. The biggest problem for me, I'm coming off as I'm a huge simp for my wife. Okay, unfortunately, I can't help it. Generally with people for romantic feelings, I typically lose those at about like 6 to 12 months. I've never lost those for Melina. I'm just not like, I'm kind of bored of you, whatever. So yeah, so that's a really high mark in my book. If I still have like romantic feelings after a year, it's like, damn. For Melina, obviously, even after 5 years, I still have those feelings. So but obviously there has to be like a workable relationship. Like we have to draw certain boundaries, or there has to be like a mutual respect that has to be there for anything to function. So what are you gonna do? Yeah. Brittany had a lot to say about this. Brittany has almost no insight into my relationship. I think she has a really hard time understanding other people, especially me or Melina, and her takes are going to be pretty surface level. And you know what? Actually, I say that, but somebody linked me a clip of her talking about it. I was like, this is kind of fair. I don't remember what it was though. So actually, maybe I shouldn't prejudge. Maybe she would have something that I would hear, and I'd be like, oh, actually, I can kind of see this. I don't know. Yeah. Would you ever consider solo polyamory? Like the one-sided open relationship stuff? I don't think so. I don't think those are workable in the long run. I think your partner is always going to be feeling a ton of resentment. And I think that because of the style of person that I am and the way that I engage with sex, anybody that I would be a partner to would probably also want to do it in the same way. I can't imagine like telling my partner, I'm going to go fuck somebody, like make sure you stay at home and don't do anything. Like, I don't think I just don't think I could ever be, I don't think I'd ever be with a woman like that. I don't think. Not that there's anything, well, I say not there's anything wrong with that. I disagree with that. I mean, if you want to try that relationship style, yeah, go for it. But, yeah, I'm trying to think. What if they're asexual? That's why I'm not saying I would never do it. Like if I truly found some chick and she was like, I don't have any sexual drive whatsoever, and you wanted to go fuck other people, maybe, I guess. I don't know. But then it's hard to imagine, like, would I be in like a super romantic relationship with her? So I'm not sure. If you have very little time due to career, why split that already reduced time among a bunch of people? That can't work, right? The issue is that when you're in a monogamous relationship, I think that like this is like the time expectation is like this. But when you're in like a closed relationship, or no, when you're like in an open or poly, I'm hoping that the time expectation goes down. I don't know if in real life that'll be the case. So if I can provide like this much time, versus like this much time, right? Like if I have like an open or poly relationship, my partner's expectation for how much time I have to spend on them hopefully decreases, and then that gives me more time to do things. But I don't know in the realistic, I'm not sure how this will work out. Yeah. Explain how Melina fell for some kind of riz. I don't think I want to speak too much on her side of things. I don't want to like, yeah, I'm not here to talk on her shit and everything. Yeah. Yeah. Would you be less insulted if this guy was a mega Chad and not somebody else because I'm insulted on your behalf? Not really. Like I said in that video, and I've always said this, because of the type of women, hold on. Let me see if, actually, no, I don't care. Fuck it. Because everybody dumps on me, so I'll talk myself up. I don't give a fuck. I'm really confident at what I do. I'm really good at what I do, and I know what traits I excel at, and I excel at these traits to a very, 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 very high level. The idea that somebody selects for another partner in things that I consider myself really good at, probably really rare. I'm sure it's possible, but yeah, I'm not the best at what I do. I'm sure there's a few more. Like if I had a partner that dumped me and they were like, I'm really sorry, but like I want to go be with Ben Shapiro, I think that would hurt a little bit. I'd be like, fuck, yeah. Is this person better than me at these things? It would like fuck my head a little bit. But I think oftentimes because of the type of person I am, there are certain things that I'm super deficit in. So if my partner's like, I want somebody that like gives me more attention or does this or blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I get it. That's fair. Yeah, like I totally get that. 100%. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like it doesn't bother me. I mean, like different people choose for different things in relationships and everything, yeah. Thoughts on Myron and the whatever dude acting like they called it. Seems a little backstabby given the time you set aside. Remember, most people's predictions of the world, when people have ideologies, okay, your ideology has to predict everything. And I believe, I don't know if there's a formal name for this, but it's called, I've heard it's called as like the all roads lead to Rome fallacy. When your ideology is especially bad, you find a way to incorporate incorrect predictions into your model in a way that like makes them work. So for instance, and by the way, anything a red pillar says besides this is a massive cope. The prediction at every single point in time that red pillars were saying is that Melina's going to leave me for somebody that has more money, that's more successful, that's more blah, blah, blah. Like that was always the prediction. Okay. Now in some of the red pill spaces, I keep track of the conversation. I'm curious what people say. Now the conversation topic has changed to, well, the reason why Melina left him is just because he let her fuck other guys. And so she doesn't have respect for him. So of course she's going to leave him for any random person. which doesn't fit with any of the prior models. It doesn't fit with any, like, Melina, before we did therapy, I asked Melina, like, I need you to pay me back for the tax shit, and like, I need back rent on this place. And Melina paid it. She was like, yeah, of course, here you go. People saying that like Melina's trying to do like a green card marriage. Bro, Melina doesn't give a fuck about a green card in the United States. And it's hilarious that a lot of people think, but again, I understand where all these predictions come from. It's because for red pillars, their goal is to abduct poor women from Eastern Europe or impoverished villages in South America. People from Sweden and France and Germany are not obsessing to get US green cards. That's just not a thing. I've never heard of that in my entire life. I don't know anybody that's ever done that ever. The idea that like Melina is like obsessed about using me for a green card, bro, it wouldn't surprise me if me and Melina totally broke up, like if we never got back together, it wouldn't surprise me if she completely ditched the green card and like let it expire. Like Melina's, the only reason she moved to the United States was to be in a relationship with me. She's not here for like, I love the US so much and blah, 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 blah. Like clearly, if the history's not anything, she prefers to like travel through Europe more and like spend time in Sweden with her friends and family and shit, yeah. Yeah. You've been trending for 3 days and people dragging over this. Are there new people to the no contact list? I mean, like, I've already kind of moved out of Red Pill Spaces, so I'm like, I'm over it. The whatever shit, that tweet was really annoying. And Trent's comment, I spent a lot of time going back and forth on this, where I'm trying to think if Trent's comment was way the fuck over the line. And again, I have to do this thing where I'm like, I'm trying to balance out, like, what are my personal feelings versus what's normally acceptable. Because Trent made a comment after something where it's like, well, you see how poly relationships work. And I told him before the show, I told Brian this. I was like, Brian, I'm not doing any commentary on my divorce shit. And if you take a bunch of donos saying that like you're a cuck about, I'm walking. Just letting you know, I'm just leaving. Because I'm not going to fucking sit here and have you make like 20,000 comments about like my fucking breakup with my wife. Okay, that's not on this program. Fuck no. So they'd both heard me say that. So they were aware of that. I did make an anti-religious comment where I was like, well, you guys are Catholic, so you have a poor understanding of consent, apparently. Like I said that. So I'm just trying to think, like, does a religious comment like that hit deep enough to where like he could hit me about like potentially ending my relationship with my wife 24 hours earlier? I'm not sure. I don't know. That was really hard because some people do take the religious shit like really personally. So I don't know. I'm not sure. I also feel like, and I could be wrong on this. It feels really weird to me that when the debate was sold as a sex worker debate, like pro or anti-sex worker, I don't know why Leela, I don't know if Trent did this. I feel like people kept bringing up like poly and open relationships. And I have no idea why the fuck that became such a big part of the conversation, because it was like, aren't we here talking about sex? I don't understand how this keeps coming up over and over again, which was like really weird, but yeah. How do you feel about Brian's tweet making fun of you? Yeah, that was weird. I don't know why he did that. That was fucking retarded. I'm not sure if I'll go back or not. We'll see. Will Farrah Friday come back? Who knows? We'll see. Let's see. Destiny, probably the link between reducing the sanctity of sex between partners and its connection to those relationship styles and sex work. That's just so stupid, though. Because poly and open relationships are like fucking 1% of the population. Why would you use that as the lens to talk about porn that affects like 100% of the population? That's like such a weird thing to say. More V collabs now? Hopefully. That lawyer girl had an awesome performance in the debate. Thoughts on her being your debate partner? Here's my feelings on this. First of all, she's very smart. She's a really intelligent person. Like intelligent, not like, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna make the comment. Yeah, she's a really smart person. 2-on-2 debates are really frustrating. I don't know if I'll ever do one again. Her performance was fine, but there's so much you want to say, and it's so irritating to like talk around each other and like we're all pursuing. Yeah, that's why for the first like, I think for like the first like 20 minutes of the conversation, I just let her run with it, and I just started jotting down notes. But bro, when oh my God, hold on. Hey, at Destiny, please look up Patrice O'Neill Penguin on YouTube. It'll make more sense to this, the whole thing you're going through. He was also in a poly relationship. He had way more experience than you. No disrespect. No disrespect to you. The vast majority of people in red pill and online like relationship style communities are virgins. I don't mean that as an insult, but I mean legitimately, I'm pretty sure over 50% of people have never had a sexual experience or a serious relationship. These are the last people in the world that I would care having commentary or information on anything relating to my relationships. I super don't care. I do not, super don't care. one of the funniest fucking things. I don't know how the fuck we got there. I do not know how the fuck we got there. When I asked something about like what are all these extreme fetishes people are getting into, and out of nowhere, Trent brought up people need crazy things to get off. Look at how many people masturbate to like, what did he say? Internal prostate electrostimulation porn. And I was like, of all the things, how is this your go-to? Yeah, that's wild to me. Yeah, I don't know. Dustin, you planning a hoe arc? I am significantly slowing down on that. My hoe arc the past 3 months has been unhinged. Actually unhinged. There was a day a month and a half ago where I think I hooked up with a chick. I flew out of my city. I went to another city. I met a chick there for lunch. I fucked her afterwards. And then that night I had a threesome with 2 friends. My past 2 months have been way too much. I'm hardcore pulling back on that. Because also I need to but also part of this was because I'm just like looking for hookups and not like deeper romantic connections. So maybe that'll change too, who knows. But yeah, I have to like pull back hardcore on a lot of, because the past like 2 months have been like unhinged for me. This is me coming back to League. I've thought about it, but no. The prostate electric thing, I think you've massively misunderstood Trent there. Maybe. I will say, if you're looking up like bondage porn, because I've actually tried to do this. I used to watch, I still sometimes do. I used to watch like a lot of porn, and I've never felt the urge. Like if you go through like my porn bookmarks, like all of it is like cum shots and like blowjobs. It's pretty vanilla stuff. And I've never in my life felt the urge to like go into all of the extreme shit. I've never felt that urge in my life. Sometimes I'll look at like more extreme stuff because I'm curious. But the scary thing is that like, especially because like I started looking into like a lot of like bondage and like edging and like all these types of things. That shit, there's so many videos that have like, urethral sounding, like massive sounding, like drain guy with sounding tube, and it's like, oh, and like even seeing a picture of that, like, ugh, makes like it instantly like fucking, oh god, like it puts a feeling in me that I don't like. Yeah. Destiny, would you ever get married again? Maybe, probably. I don't have like super strong feelings about marriage. Me and Melina got married because we loved each other. I wanted her to live with me, so she needed like the access to the United States and the green card and everything. If I met an American, would I ever get married? I'm not sure. I don't know. I think it depends on. I feel like if I had like children with somebody, we would probably get married. Or if they were making a really big like career sacrifice for me, I'd think so. I think marriage is really important to protect the woman if she's starting to make big sacrifices building towards a relationship, because one of the reasons why men fare so much better in so many different ways outside of divorce is because in a marriage or a strong relationship, the woman is usually making sacrifices career-wise or building herself in the future. So when you split on relationships like that, the guy comes out is like, oh, sorry, our relationship ended, but like, honey, I've been working for the past 10 years, like, the guy usually comes out, statistically speaking, better off financially, career-wise, blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, like, I could understand sometimes, like, I need to be married because I want a little bit of protection and, whatever. That would make sense to me. Like, yeah, I think that's super fair. Also, I mean, like, I think having a marriage at this point in my life, having a marriage and the ceremony and the ring and all that'd probably be cute. Yeah, if somebody really wants to. Do you think it's the drugs or your age catching up with you that has caused you to slow down? Slow down what? Do you think you want more kids? If I'm with somebody that really wants kids, maybe. But otherwise, I don't have a strong feeling towards that. What if you're in a 2+ year relationship with somebody who's making like 20% of your income? Ever get married just for the filing jointly bonuses? Filing jointly doesn't really help that much. It's like, it helps a little bit, but I think once you're past, there's a lot of intermediate income tax tricks. I would say, speaking totally on my ass. No, I'm not speaking totally on my ass. I would say when you're in like the $100,000 to $300,000 of income, when you're grossing between 100 and 300K, there's a lot of like tax tricks relating to like how you filed jointly or, the types of, do you itemize or send blah, 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 that are true. Once you go north of like $500,000, I think that the tax strategies that you utilize become a lot more sophisticated. And it's not just like, I'm merely filing jointly, we're saving so much money now, right? I think that doesn't become as important. Yeah. Can you talk about what Invader V was talking about, getting mad at you and then saying sorry? Oh, sure. I guess I can reveal that. Invader V was just mad because, and actually I kind of agree with her there. And you know what? Yeah, I will. I'll dump on Mel a bit for this. Because Mel and me have so many problems communicating, sometimes we'll go to like third parties or friends, and these friends have kind of like, I don't want to say like been therapists, but they like played mediator roles in conversations. And I think V felt like that wasn't really fair to some friends, which actually I kind of agree. Like I've even told Melina, and I've told these other friends, this is like, you guys, you need to really start billing us because you're like sitting here on this phone call for like 5 hours. Like, why the fuck are you not? You should be charging us money. You're getting like super fucked right here. But maybe that's just a thing friends do. I don't know. I don't have very many close friendships. I'm not sure. I will say though, let me say this, okay? Whenever I've said, because some people, Brittany, some people have made this claim. Whenever I've said we're going to therapy or we're doing therapy, that doesn't mean we're talking to friends. I mean like actually going to a therapist that we pay money to have therapy for, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. Sneeko and Fresh and Fit reaction, watch what they said. I don't really think I care to look at a whole bunch of people that comment on my shit. Yeah. I feel like I did look because I was curious. I did look at Myron's comments. I hate this so much because it's so fucking embarrassing for my fucking side. Okay, I fucking hate it. I hate saying this, okay? Especially because I super disagree with a lot of his lifestyle, and I do shit talk his lifestyle. I will say openly, like, one-sided relationships are dumb, this red pill shit is dumb, and a lot of it is I am referring to what he's saying, okay? But Myron is a really classy, respectful dude. Like, he DM'd me, he said he was sorry. I think he even said specifically, when he texted me, I didn't even respond to him because my brain was so fucked that I didn't respond to him. I think he said specifically, he was like, yeah, like, bro, we're not gonna, like, go in on you, like, super hard and all that shit or whatever. Yeah, which I appreciated. I saw his comments. I thought they were fair in that obviously I disagree with them, but like, I don't think he was like taking shots or being crazy or any stupid shit like that. So yeah, Myron is for as much as I disagree with him, and I think some things are kind of like the fucking on the podcast and all that weird shit that I think are like scummy and I think Myron's like a stand-up guy. He is, or at least everything that I've seen, it seems to be the case that he is. Yeah. Turkey Tom's video was weird. Maybe he messaged me and he asked me if he could do it. And I was like, oh, and I set a boundary. I think I did. Because initially I was going to respond and I was like, bro, knock yourself out. Just because we're friends, I don't like limit the content you can do. And then I deleted that and I was like, you can make a video if you want, but like, please don't just like hardcore shit on me. I made that request. It was a hard one to make and I did it. I was proud of myself for it. Oh yeah, I said, yeah, you're good. Just try not to shit on me too hard. There you go. Are you going to take Rollo on his offer to talk to him? Absolutely not. Why didn't you do a prenup? Why didn't I do a prenuptial agreement? A little bit of naivety, a little bit of I make so much money if somebody takes a few million from me, whatever, fuck it. Also a little bit of like I really don't feel like Mel would ever do that. That'd be crazy. Although it's a really stupid thing to say about a 20-year-old. But I mean, like, she still hasn't. Like, to be super clear, like, my therapist told me not to ask this in therapy because she said it was a really aggressive question, but I kind of had to. Like, I asked Mel like straight up, like, will you pay me back right now? Because I fronted her $100,000 for a lot of the Swedish tax shit. I was like, will you pay me back this money? Because I don't know now if we break up. Will you pay me retroactively your half of the back rent on this apartment? Because now it feels weird that like you haven't ever blah, blah, blah. And then will you sign a post-nuptial agreement to just in case if we do divorce in the future, if we try again or blah, 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 like to protect my shit or whatever. And on every single one of these, Mel was like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. Yeah, it's fine. Like, she didn't fight. She didn't argue. She did like always like, I don't think she's the kind of person to ever be like a gold digger or money. I know that like that's the red pill perception of it. But like, again, like these guys don't understand anything about relationships or they only talk to gold diggers, I guess. Yeah. Yeah. So that was, yeah. Thoughts on people using your breakup as ammo against you in the future? I mean, red pillars, I don't think a conservative would. That feels weird, like for a political conversation. And then also, like, relationships end. Like, it happens, you know? As sad as it might be, like, not every relationship is going to last forever. Like, I'll predict this right now, okay? I'm 34, 35 tomorrow without my wife on my birthday. Feels good, man. I'll probably get into another relationship. It will probably be an open relationship, and it will also probably end at some point because I don't know if the next person I start dating is going to be like the person I'm with or something. It'll happen. And then when it happens, people will run through, depending on how alive or dead they were. It's the same argument. It's like, oh, I failed because it was open and blah, 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 blah. Like, that's life, you know? Sometimes you try, it doesn't work. It's, what are you going to do, you know? Do you have any non-online people you talk to this stuff about? Yeah, I've got a lot of like really good friends and everything that I talk to and everything. Yeah. Is it okay to support Mel's work and be a Destiny fan? Yeah, knock yourself out. Do whatever. It's all good. She did a bunch of like, she started to branch off into like TikTok interviews and stuff. that a lot of it she like works pretty closely with the editor stuff. I think the new stuff she's working on there, I think is actually pretty good. Probably more aligned with what she wants to do than just like streaming anyway. So XQC said you ignored his messages. Yeah, I got like a 50 million messages from people. I ignored most of them. So yeah. Is she still talking to that loser? Are you going to talk about stuff? Listen, Melina's doing with her life whatever she wants to do with her life. She blocked me on everything, so I don't know what she's doing right now. And I'm trying to like go around and like spiral or death spiral and shit. Are you gonna talk about Seth? I shouldn't have vague posted about the Seth Everman thing. There's nothing wrong with that guy. He's just in the same friend group, and it's just that. There was nothing like super dramatic or like that guy's never done anything weird or bad or wrong or anything like that. Yeah, he was just like in the friend group. Did you see it all coming, or was it a blindside? Like 50-50, yes and no. Like one of the things I've always talked about with Melina when we fought in the past, and really any relationship partner, is that like at some point, like I don't know if you're gonna be able to meet a guy who gives you more attention or more time or more validation or whatever. Like these people historically for me have always been really hard to compete with because I just don't have, one, those aren't traits that I naturally excel in anyway. And then two, because of how much deliberate effort and time it takes, I just can't compete with people like that. It's impossible. Yeah, I can't. Like, I would rather be trying to like Andrew and Tristan Tate were trying to like rizz up my girl and I have to like defend her against them than just like kind of like a quiet dude that is like, I'll talk to you for 20 hours a day and give you like all the attention or validation. Like that's so much harder. There's so much more work. Holy shit. Again, let me be clear though, not to say that like one thing is good or bad, or not that like anything is, I'm not saying that her style of relationships or that style of guy is necessarily good or bad or whatever. Different people like gravitate towards different things. Destiny, do you think that because a lot of viewers consider you competent, the expectation is that you can make a relationship work, so failure must be your bad lifestyle? Maybe. I mean, like, I see a lot of people say a lot of weird things about, like, advice I give and shit that I, like, know. I always say this, like, and I've said this a million times, one of the reasons why I think I have a lot of good advice and understand a lot of things is because I've made a lot of these mistakes, and I can literally give you both sides of it. Like without giving too much information on like personals between me and Mel, once things started to head a certain way, I knew exactly where everything was headed. Probably about 2 months, for sure about a month ago, and probably about 2 months ago. I knew every single thing that was gonna happen. And I would even argue with, you know, my partner about this, and she's like, oh, well, you know, fine, I guess you know them better than I do, and blah, blah. I'm like, this is like, I see where this is gonna go. So a lot of the times, like, people mistake advice as it coming from like, oh, well, I'm gonna tell you about the gym because I'm the most shredded guy in the world. Or I'm gonna tell you about relationships because my relationships are perfect and blah, blah, blah. That is absolutely not the case. Usually most of my advice comes from a place of like, I know exactly what you're supposed to do here because if you do the opposite thing, I can tell you exactly how it's gonna get fucked up and why it's gonna, because I probably made this mistake. What did Drake say? Half the time I got it right, I probably guessed. Yeah, so I mean like, yeah. So some people will like take evidence of like a relationship failing or an issue having like, oh, this is why Destiny doesn't blah, 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 blah. Yeah. But I mean, listen, if the only people you want to follow are people that are successful in a given field, for their advice, like, you're welcome to do that. But I mean, I would argue it's not red pillars. So, yeah. Didn't you move to Miami because Mel wanted to move there? Any plans to move back to the West Coast? I don't know. I think at this stage of my life, unfortunately, maybe if that one tax guy wants to email me, I don't think I can live in a place right now with state income tax. I'm sorry, this is my privileged position, okay? But like, once your income is like north of 7 figures, like state income tax is actually like brutally fucking you in the ass. And I said that I would never bottom for a guy. I just like sucking dick. So the idea of like, yeah, getting fucked that hard that's a really hard. I don't know if I can live in a state with state income tax right now. I don't think I can handle that. So if I were to go anywhere, like probably Washington State maybe, because I know my biggest issue is my style of person. I know so many cool people and cool girls and everything that are in like fucking Portland, Seattle, San Diego, LA, San Francisco. I know all these cool people over here. And in Miami, I think I've hooked up with one person from Florida. I think, since I've been here, literally one person from Florida. Everybody, and maybe if I went to different parts of Florida, actually, if I went to Tampa, I know a lot of people that live in Tampa, but it's like a fucking 4-hour drive for me. Yeah, Miami is just not my vibe. It's not like the type of vibe that I connect with well, and these people here don't connect with me well. Yeah. Why Why would V be mad at you for using friends to mediate? Because these friends are like pretty young, and it's probably not fair to ask like a 22-year-old to like try to mediate like hardcore relationship drama and blah blah blah. I think that's just why she thought it was inappropriate. Which actually I kind of agree with her. I think it is a little unfair. Hold on. Also, it's a real quick thing. Okay, get this out of your system. Actually, don't. We're done. Hold on. I said this in chat before. Okay, no insults about Melina or the guy she may or may not be seeing. I don't know what they're doing. I have no idea. I truly don't know. Ever since she left, we blocked each other and everything. She blocked me and everything. Yeah. Isn't the 100K for the Laura stuff a retroactive gift thing? No, I agreed to front her the money for her tax stuff because we didn't really need to, because we already paid taxes here, but just to like shore everything up for her trial, just to make sure. And she said she was going to pay me back once Sweden refunded her the money. So this is not red pill. This is super relevant to your situation. I wouldn't risk getting permit. Please, it's just 10 minutes.
Eric, what's up, man?
What's up, Patrice? You're a genius. I just want to say that right out front because you are an absolute genius. I've been following what you've been doing for a while.
Oh, hold on, man. Do me a favor, Eric. Before you finish, just tell Karis I'm a genius, too.
Kara, Patrice is an absolute genius. I've been using this stuff for a while. But here's the thing. My girl left me like 2 weeks ago.
Aww.
And she left me because I don't feel bad because I really get upset about
We
it.
don't feel bad, nigga.
Destiny, what was the difference between when you got obsessed with that mystery girl and now when Melina is mind fucked, one into the relationship and the other didn't? Well, hold on, I want to see if I can. Fuck, I don't want to like dive into details for anybody. I'll say that, I think I can say this. When I fucked up, I acknowledged that it was a fuck up, and I was like, listen, yeah, this was bad. I'm not going to defend any of this. Like, I was being stupid here. I did get mind fucked that I did. Like, this was bad. It was bad. Like, that's it. And when I've described it to any friend, when I've talked about it with Melina, like, I've always said as much. Like, there's no excuse here. Like, this is just me fucking up hardcore. I feel like Melina doesn't feel like she's made any fuck ups in regards to how she's treated things. So that was like our big disagreement there. But yeah. But obviously, like, there's a lot of problems. People have different perspectives on everything and all of that. So, I mean, yeah, everybody has people, like, there's always going to be like probably like 4 sides to any stories related to relationship stuff, but that's the yeah.
That was her with that shit. Did you hear his manly arms, motherfucker? Like, get on with the story, nigga. So you jerking off and you wasn't.
What's the problem? Get to the point. Get to the goddamn
Go ahead, man.
All right, so she left me. She told me she was too crazy to be with me. So she left me. She said she wanted to be by herself, get her shit together, and then come back to me in like 3-4 months when she gets, herself, all straightened up and together. And I'm just trying to make logic of it because I'm like, you Patrice, if she comes at me and says all that stupid stuff, I come back with straight logic and won't let anything die. And I think I drove her crazy. When it really pisses me off is I almost had her trained up the way you talk because it does work. Because I like skirts and all those, real sexy things. When I met her, she didn't wear that. Now she does, and she just saying stuff like.
So what do you women though? So there's always a pretense to when a woman talks. What do you think it really, really was?
I honestly don't know. I think I drove her a little crazy, but it was just like the point where she was like, one night she'd be like, I want to break up with you. The next night, it never even happened. The next night, I want to break up with you. And I'll just be
What
like.
did you say when she said she wanted to break up?
I said, all right, if that's where you want to be.
Good man.
All
Take
right.
me back, dude.
Let me
You're
ask
doing a
you.
good thing though. This guy is fucking a real soldier. Because one thing you did is that they need an emotion to feed off. Women can't stay logical long.
Exactly.
They can't stay logical long. So when you told her that, okay, that's what you got to always do when a chick busts out emotion on you, got to be cold. I know it's hard because she might have beautiful eyes and she's like crying.
Might
But
even
you
love
go, look, you got to always be thinking to yourself, my happiness is paramount. Now, do you want to still be with this girl?
I don't even know.
So far, I will say being cold towards somebody is probably one of the worst things you can do in a relationship. That is absolutely not true. Being cold is probably the quickest way to get to a domestic violence situation would be my guess. But
right now, because he's being crazy. But the reason that tripped me out is like we hang out with, we've been dating for like 13 months and we, all our friends, connected together. She goes to my bar, they usually hit up.
Right.
And I'll roll up there and she'll be like, I love you still and all this shit because she wants to get back with me in like 3 months.
Right.
And it just really tripped me out. It doesn't make any sense to me.
She's trying, what she's trying to do? It's like this, and Dante has a story that's related to this, but I'm going to give you an example of the position that she's in. Women, again, like I said, in the beginning of the show, women are looking for a general that they feel comfortable fighting for. They're looking for a guy that they can believe in. That's what a woman really wants her job to be. They want their job. Women really want to have no job. They want to support a man that they believe in. That's what they want their job to really be. So she's found you, and she fucking... It's like this analogy I use. And I changed my shark analogy, by the way. No tuna. No tuna.
What happened to the bear?
It's a shark analogy.
Right, okay.
The bear's still there, but the shark thing, it's a lot of women because they feel like second-class citizens. They feel a little weaker. They feel a little, they don't like loving you and feeling goofy. Like, I've done a magical thing and convinced my girl that I don't have to love her as much as she loves me. It doesn't make sense. You can't love at the same time.
You can't love
this, I don't. Listen, if you run your life this way, that's fine. I don't. This doesn't even sound like I would enjoy it. I want to be with somebody that I am super in love with, and I want to be able to show that to them. This is like a recommendation I would give. I don't know. Maybe you guys are in here, or maybe I'm lucky. Maybe I just gotten away with doing this. If I'm with somebody, I don't have to hide like a part of me to them, and I don't want to have to like hide how much I love a person if I'm with them. Like I want to be able to share that with the person. That's way more fulfilling than playing mind games. Like the mind game shit is fun if you are like in a Death Note mood and you want to fuck with somebody, but I wouldn't ever want to live that way. But listen, if that's how you guys want to navigate your shit, I mean, everybody has different desires and all that. Knock yourself out, I guess. Bridges podcast is safe. Yeah, everything is there. It's fine. Everything else in my life is a-okay. How are you so confident that Mel won't go in on you, considering she blocked you on everything? I have a few reasons, some practical, some emotional, but I'm 100% confident that won't happen. I just trust me, I know that won't happen. Do you feel like people have any kind of responsibility to make comments on self-destructive habits of partners after a breakup, or should that be kept to themselves? Unless there's like severe abuse going on, maybe. Or like rape or sexual assault, maybe. I generally don't think that you should ever comment publicly. I think that's inappropriate. I shouldn't have made comments in chat. I was just fucking triggered beyond all belief that day. I shouldn't have said anything in chat. I think in general, because it's like, who are you to air out? Because the issue is that like, not only are you airing shit out, now you're only airing out your side. So now you're inviting like a response. Now you're bringing the entire public into relationship disagreements in order to even explain anything, especially like in a lot of relationships that have gone on for a long time. A lot of stuff has like a lot of build up, and there's like, well, I did this because last month he did this, but he did this because last year I said this, but I only said that because like in the first 2 years of our relationship, like this, like there's like, it's just like not, why litigate it all publicly? Like nobody needs to have a perspective on your personal disagreements that's in the public eye. If you want to talk to friends or whatever, that's one thing, but yeah. Yeah, I think. What's the next week's of content? Like, I don't know. We'll talk about that once I think we're through with all of this. Oh, someone said, if your theory that jobless beta males with a ton of time on their hands are more likely to seduce a woman, then why is it the case that 10 out of 10 attractive chads with busy lives and successful careers aren't overwhelmingly virgins? I don't know what that means. Typically, it is the case that jobless beta losers are virgins. When they shower women with attention, it tends to push women away. Your theory falls apart when faced with reality. I don't know how to communicate this to you, because everything I'm talking about, if you have no experience and the problem is that like I construct my worldview through a lot of my personal experience, a lot of the stories that I hear other people tell me, and then sprinkled in with a little bit of like studies and factual data and blah, 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 blah. But a lot of this is like heavily based on my personal experience, things that I've seen, friends that I've had. So I'll say that to qualify that, one, maybe this is different in other countries, or two, there might be dramatically different sects of people, S-E-C-T-S, or different cliques or groups that move in different ways. So maybe the advice that I give actually doesn't apply at all to that. That could be possible. When I say jobless beta males, when I say that jobless beta males are able to seduce women better, right? That's my way of emotionally negatively loading what they are, right? I would say, how does this jobless beta fuck compete with me when I'm like wealthy, successful, ambitious, blah, 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 right? I'm positively loading my good traits and I'm negatively loading their bad traits. But you could just as easily spin that as like, how is Destiny like the cold, quasi-stoic, like emotionally detached, like neglectful fucking husband, right? Why would he expect to keep somebody versus somebody that's like warmer, compassionate, more emotionally caring, more validating, right? You could just easily twist it the other way. So it's not, you don't get a woman by being a jobless beta male. That's not true. And if that's what you're reading in my comment, that you're many levels behind where the conversation is. The reason why these types of people can be more successful is because they can get proximity and they can talk a lot and they can just give somebody a lot of attention, which feels good, especially if you're attention starved or if you're somebody that just like gravitates towards like more high attention environments. Just being a jobless loser isn't going to like get you a girl. You have to understand like the communication style, the emotional, I don't want to say manipulation, but like, yeah, things like that basically, yeah. Yeah. What is Cherry's part in all of this? Did she mastermind anything? No, not really. Cherry just does Cherry things. Did you see this from XQC? I'm not watching XQC's comments. I'm not going to get baited into like, when I just said that like, oh, I don't want to talk about this. I was like, well, did you see when this guy talked about it? Now, what do you want to say? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Wait, hold on. Okay. 9:40 plus, we get our wife back. No, I'm just kidding. Is Jimmy still alive? Do we still have to send him to the, Sorry, Jimmy. What was the thing that happened that made you pull the plug on the relationship? Again, I don't want to talk too much into specifics. There are just things that like I'm not comfortable with, and I don't know if we could come to an agreement on what we're comfortable with. Yeah, I guess I'll say that much. Yeah. Is the doctor that prescribed your medication an MDDO or an MP? I don't believe she's an MP, but now I'm not sure because I just asked yesterday and I found an MP's can prescribe medication. I don't know. Destiny, isn't the showering a woman with attention and time a good way to end up friend zoned if you aren't careful? I don't know. This is a talk I've given before, and apparently blackpilled a lot of people. I didn't mean to say this is permanent or unchangeable. I don't know how to make people understand this, and I don't know how to communicate this. I really wish I did. Maybe there's a pickup art or something that could. Showering a woman with attention won't necessarily get you friend zoned. The thing that gets you friend zoned is I don't know how to explain this other than there's like a vibe that some people give off. I can look at a guy and tell you if he does, but I don't know if I can tell you why. But there are certain guys with the way that they talk and communicate with women, I'm like, that's a friend. He's always a friend. The way that he acts is friendly. Even if he were to make a sexual comment, it would just come off as creepy or friendly. I can just tell. I don't know why, but I can just tell. Like you're just like a friend. You're a friend. Yeah, everything about the way you move is a friend. And there are other people where the way that these guys communicate, you're always like, this is like a potential romantic option. Absolutely it could be. Or a sexual option. Absolutely it could be. I don't know why that is the case with some people, but it is. The way that I communicate with women in general, I think I'm always like pretty forward in that like we can fuck place. Now this isn't to say I've never been friend zoned. Not only are there girls that see me as a friend, there are girls that I've wanted to fuck that are like, I didn't have to ask, I could tell, but they like see me more like a friend, or they're like, I don't know if I'm like, blah, blah, right? I'm not saying that I can fuck anyone I want, but like the vibes that I give off when I chat with people is definitely like a pretty, I don't want to say like aggressively flirty / whatever, but it puts me in that ballpark really quickly. Now, if you're in that ballpark, you can shower somebody with attention, of course, and not get friend zoned. Why would you? You think if like, if I were to start like giving a girl a ton of attention, she's not gonna be like, oh, now I see you as a friend, right? She's gonna get obsessed. The showering with attention thing seems like it puts you in the friend zone, but what's actually happened is those guys have already been friend zoned, and then they try to shower somebody with attention in order to get out of the friend zone. That doesn't work. If you've already given off and established that kind of like plutonic and friendly vibe, and the girl sees you that way, showering her with attention is not going to change your mind. Generally speaking, there might be like exceptions to that, maybe, but generally speaking, like that's the case. Has anybody else reached out to you besides Myron? Yeah, a ton of people messaged me. My Discord DMs and everything are on such a backlog. Yeah. How did you get into solo therapy? Did you ever feel like you were too smart for therapy? Like you could think through personal issues better than some rando? Yeah, actually, yeah. I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, I do. This is a big problem I have. The solo therapy session was with our couples counselor because I asked her like, hey, can we chat so I can figure out like what I want to do on stream, because I've like made this whole fucking manifesto and I'm fucking ready to go. So she'd already had like a lot of background on me and Melina, which is helpful for me because I need somebody to challenge my opinions, because I can't just have somebody that's hearing only my side of the story and then like agreeing with me, because obviously I'm telling things that I feel are true and important, and I might leave things out that Melina might think are true and important. So it's good to talk to her. I think that was, I respect her. Actually, it's funny that you said that. I think I actually explicitly texted her yesterday, and I said, thank you so much. It's actually huge personal difficult for me to find people whose insight I respect and who are actually helpful to me, and you've definitely been one of those people. Regardless of how things turn out with Melina, this is one of the most helpful conversations I've had in my life. Thank you. Yeah, so I actually feel like she is like a pretty smart and insightful person. I actually really appreciate her conversations. It is difficult though. I will say that like, if for nothing else, try not to view therapists as like people that need to be smarter than you to figure out your problems. Try to view them as people that are good sounding boards to help you observe yourself from a third person perspective. Like that's what the most important thing is. They don't have to be like, oh, you're 140 IQ, well, I'm 145 IQ, so now I can help you. It could be somebody significantly dumber than you in terms of IQ, I guess, but they're like, hey, I've seen people with your type of problem before. Have you considered doing this? Or like, here's a strategy, or how about this? Or even just talk to me and I'll ask you questions, and maybe through me asking the right questions, you solve your own problems, you know? Yeah. It's the love bomb that comes off as desperate that turns girls off. I'm so glad I moved away from these red pill spaces, because like my perspective on relationships and dating are not only different, I would say better. I think I have a way better understanding of it. The idea that love bombing comes off as desperate and turns a girl off, that is not true. That's only true if the girl is already turned off by you. If the girl likes you, love bombing is one of the most effective manipulator strategies ever. Love bombing is an incredibly effective abusive strategy to use to get somebody really close to you. Red pillars will talk to you about a lot of traits that they think turn girls off, and it's funny because I know that like that's not true. These are some of the most aggressive and manipulative things you can do. Like red pills have this thing where like, oh, if you ever cry in front of a girl, she'll leave you forever. Don't ever cry, blah, blah, blah. Bro, selective vulnerability or showing like intense bouts of like emotion or crying is one of the best ways to manipulate a chick when you're, especially if you've been caught doing something wrong, especially if you're trying to sell a certain feeling or emotion or like, yeah. So the idea that like you guys have this like, oh, you can't do that, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm so curious. I wish I could get like a day in the life of some of your relationships. Like I want to see what these look like, where it's like the stuff, like it reminds me of like Sneeko on shows where he's trying so hard to be, like stoic that he won't even like laugh at jokes. And I'm like, do you really, bro? It's funny. Like you're trying so hard to not even show emotion. Like it's so cringe, you know? Yeah. Destiny, you're missing the point. An unattractive male or beta male, I don't even know what you mean when you say beta male. You're missing the point. An unattractive male or beta male can't make up for looks with love bombing. I agree with you, but what you think is unattractive, like, isn't even close. I don't think women care that much about like male attractiveness when it comes to selecting for relationships. Women definitely have preferences. They like big, you know, buff guys, or guys with nice forearms, or guys with nice shoulders or backs, or like dudes that are 6'2", or blah, blah, blah. Like girls definitely have a preference, but in the category of all the things that they prioritize when selecting for a relationship, the physical attraction thing is not that far up the list. Yeah. This is why, I've seen so many guys like, I'm only 5'11", a girl never date me, or like I'll look at guys and I was like, bro, like I see how these guys look and they're like, yeah, girls want to date me. Like, bro, you're gorgeous, you are insanely handsome, you've got amazing hair, you're 32, you're tall, like bro, your body is banging. Like girls are not selecting you because of your looks, because you think you're not like the top 1% Giga Chat. That's just not true. And again, I'll appeal to anecdote, and this has only gotten more true as time has gone on. I know so many hot streamer chicks, there's so many hot girls in like the influencer world of shit whose guys are like averagely intelligent dudes. It's like, yeah, you know. But I'll never be able to convince anybody of that. If you've been in the red pill space too long, that's something you'll learn as you get older. But I'm not here to like, if you don't believe me, you don't have to believe me. I don't give a fuck. You're only hurting yourself. Will you ever repair the bridge with Nick Fuentes? Never. Likely never. Maybe in 2 or 3 or 4 years if he significantly changes. But one thing that I've noticed, there's a trend that I see that people or communities that are in these, like, is it death throes? Is that a word? That are like in their final dying breaths are very, very, very keen on like outrage farming and just like anything for attention. And I try to stay away from that. I'm not going to be like your life support, which I think Fuentes is looking for. Yeah, Pearl deals this as well, just Pearly things. Also, a lot of the Red Pill community, not Fresh and Fit, but a lot of the other Red Pill community like obsesses over. This is still like my favorite video of all time. I probably brought this up. I think this is my favorite, one of my favorite video of all time. Because Pearl was so mad that I was making fun of the fact that her channel is kind of dying. Her sub count is grossly overinflated because of YouTube Shorts, and I don't think she probably even makes that much money on her media anymore. I don't think. And she got really mad. She tried to outrage from me for a week to get a response. I didn't give it to her because I know she's looking for one to make a video on. And then eventually she made a video, and it's this fucking video. It's so good. Adam! I've never even watched it, and I won't because for a variety of reasons, mainly because I just don't care. Adam22 and Destiny forgot they're irrelevant. 1.9 million subs, 16,000 view video. Yikes. People feel like this because you get 3 matches a month swiping thousands of people. It's Tinder, yes, but then you talk purely looks. It can harm your confidence a lot. Yeah, but like on Tinder, when people, okay, this is like a statistical artifact, would you say? Okay. Here's the thing I would say, okay? Yeah, thanks for your 5 sub. If you're a guy, I'm going to say very broadly speaking, if you're a guy, you probably aren't going to choose to date a girl based on if she has blonde or brunette hair, even if you have a preference, okay? Me personally, okay, I like dark hair. I actually dramatically prefer brunettes over blondes, okay? Both of my wives so far have been blonde, okay? But that's like a preference. I like brunettes over blondes, okay? But I would never select a relationship based on dark hair. However, if I was on a platform that was 80% women and 20% guys, or 10% women, or I'm sorry, let me flip it. 10% guys and 90% women, where I've got way more women that are after me than men, than there are men on the platform, I would probably start being really selective on something. I was like, you know what, fuck it. Fuck the blondes. I don't need this shit right now. I got so many fucking girls that are swiping me. I got so many women that are swiping me. I don't, fuck the blondes. And you know what? I don't like people when their fingers are too long. That's fucking weird. I want a girl with small hands, okay? Because it makes your dick look fucking huge when they grab you. So fuck that. Actually, I think I want a short chick. I think I do, actually. Yeah, because then everything looks bigger. Fuck it, yeah. I want a 5'2" or under. I want a brunette. Yeah, fuck it. And then swipe. When the options are so dramatically in your favor, you can become way more selective. So I only say this because I would be super careful if you're a guy about drawing large conclusions about what women are selecting for based on Tinder, because on Tinder, they're so dramatically outmatched by the number of men swiping on there that of course they're gonna start to become highly selective. But that's just because they have so many options. Why wouldn't they? It wouldn't surprise me if a girl was like, yeah, fuck it. If I'm on Tinder, I only wanna fucking do this like 6'2" or taller. But people will take women on Tinder saying, they're like, oh, in the real world, women will only date a guy that's 6'2" or taller. That's not true. In the real world, the gender imbalances are completely the other way, right? There's more women than men. And depending on the space you're in, there's way more women than men. But yeah. Yeah. Sorry, Dusty, I'm not taking relationship advice from you. Then don't. You don't have to. Go trust somebody else that's never been in a relationship before. That's fine. I don't give a fuck. Knock yourself out. You don't have to believe anything I'm saying. Did it really take y'all this long to find out if you're incompatible on this thing? Yeah, it's taking me a long time to like set appropriate boundaries and make appropriate asks in personal relationships. It's just a very, very, very difficult thing for me to do. But I'm getting better at it. Another person's perspective, a professional one, is crucial. We miss so much, we don't even realize it. True. Your therapist 10,000% watches your stream? I don't think so. She's like, fuck, I don't want to get her age wrong. I think she's like 50. Do you think being platonic friends first is impossible? I don't want to turn into a whole fucking relationship advice stream. I don't think you can start from platonic and move to romantic. It's happened and it's possible, but in general, no. I think you set the vibe very early on. Even with people that you... it's platonic. Oh, platonic, sorry. Even if you set you can still set a romantic vibe early, or you can set like a non-friendly vibe early, even if you're not going to date them or fuck them. Like you could both be in a relationship, still have that like style of like communication. But if you set like a platonic vibe really early, or they feel that, it's very rare that would change into something romantic. Destiny, isn't a lot of your dating advice given from the perspective of a very rich, fairly famous person? Is this really good advice for the average man? Listen, if you think I'm saying anything wrong, then that's fine. I had a kid and I had hookups and I dated before I ever got into streaming. Also, I'm pretty sure I hook up a lot more than any of the streamers in the sphere. But if you don't trust me, if you don't believe it, that's fine. The only thing I question, though, is when people will say things like, I don't trust your advice because you're a wealthy streamer. Which also, by the way, I admit that obviously like gives me access to way more fucking people than a normal person. I totally understand that. But people will say things like, I don't trust your advice because your perspective is so different. I'm going to go and listen to all of these red pillars. And it's like, okay, well, like, why would I trust him? It's like Rolo's advice on anything having to do with women. He's been married to one woman for 40 years. Like, I don't know if this guy knows anything about like what modern hookup culture is like, what modern women think, but people will take his word as gospel. And it's like, this motherfucker, found his wife at Woodstock. Why would he have anything to say? Like when this guy was courting his wife, he didn't even have to text, right? Like this is totally different, Not to say that because of that, Rolo gives bad advice. Like I would attack his advice on more factual grounds, but I'm just saying like people will say things like, oh yeah, I don't trust your advice because you're out of touch. I'm gonna go listen to all of these other influencers that are definitely more in touch. That's like a little bit weird to me, but Why are you less critical on therapy now? Have I ever been critical on therapy? Therapy is like generally always associated with positive outcomes in basically everything. Does your son or his mom know? No, but like, I don't know how many times. I think I've mostly seen Nathan on my own. Also, I've had girlfriends. I think at a very early point in Nathan's life, I set that like me and his mom are separate and we kind of have like different girlfriends sometimes, or I do, because he also knew Teresa a little, and Aaron too, Eris. Yeah, I don't think it affects him much one way or the other. Can you explain the Farha thing a little bit? No. Was empathy ever an issue in your relationship? Empathy is an issue. Empathy is an issue for everybody. Sometimes the closer you get to somebody, the harder empathy or compassion can be because you get personally affected. So it just kind of depends. You used to say therapy wasn't worth it for you. Oh, like personal stuff. Sorry, I just had another dumb question. Personal stuff. For me, like solo therapy wasn't that good, but relationship therapy has actually been really helpful. But me talking personally about my problems, I wasn't able to get much insight or help from a therapist, but talking to friends has actually helped me a lot on that. And talking about relationships with a relationship counselor was very helpful. Somebody said, Destiny, a 40-year relationship is a successful marriage though. No, wouldn't people see your failed relationships and be more wary? If it was the case that Rolo was only giving advice on how to maintain a marriage, that is actually, as funny as it sounds, I would actually be super interested in hearing Rolo talk about for 2 years, how do you maintain a successful marriage? That would actually be real. I'd be curious because he's a social figure. So there's a lot of public pressure. He talks about sex and relationships. He's around all these girls on these shows and shit that he does. He has an adult daughter, I think, right? That's a lot of public pressure and everything really is. It would actually be really interesting to like, how do you maintain a marriage after all these years, given how public you are, given the material? That would actually be super interesting. But he never talks about that. He talks about shit like divorce and how it fucks over men and hookup culture and alpha fucks and beta bucks. And it's like, you don't have experience on any of these things. I don't care what you have to say on these. Well, unless you have ways of gathering experience, you're giving good advice or whatever. But like from an ethos or pathos, from like a character point of view, his perspectives there are pretty pointless, and he would have to be talking to a lot of different people for me to like trust his advice there. Kind of like for Dan, actually. I don't know if I've done this on stream or only off stream, but like I know I've asked Dan questions about his marriage. I'm like, what do you guys do? Like, how do you spend time together? Like, how do you balance out like your wife and the kids? I'm super curious about all this because you've been married for a long time and it has worked really well for you. But like when Dan was in here, like talking about like hookups and stuff, I'm like, okay, hold on. You've been married for like 50 years, the same person. You have no experience here at all. I don't know if I care as much about like Dan's practical advice related to hookups, right? That's what I mean when I say, yeah. It just like depends on the areas that you excel in. I'm just saying like when people come in and they say like, oh, like I've got like questions, like I've got a really specific problem into like LGBTQ relationships. I can't help you. I don't know anything about. I can give you a few things other people have said, but I can't help you with like what are the dangers of, dating or hooking up with people if I haven't come out of the closet yet, or if my friends don't know, or if my mom and dad know, but like they haven't seen it, but like I can't answer any of those questions. Yeah. Talk to swinger couples who have already been through it together. Surely they have some advice for you. Maybe. I think those people tend to be a lot older, though. Check out the new politics meta. Or I guess I'm a lot older now because I'm like 35 almost.
Okay, everyone. I want to give an update on...
Have you told your parents about the breakup? No, not yet.
The current...
But my parents are always like, we love you, Stevie, no matter what. Like, that's always... Yeah. This video is actually so fucking funny. Okay, I'll check it later. This is some wild cope, Destiny, to be honest. Relax, bro. Okay. It's so funny. People will say that I'm like... Actually, I'm curious. We can do this publicly. People will always say that like you're coping with stuff or you don't truly feel this way and blah, blah, blah. But like, you can look at my whole history of my whole life and most of it is public. I have very few secrets and like most of it conforms with and aligns to things that I've said. Like, I don't know if there's ever been a thing that's come out where it's like, oh, actually I was super miserable all the time. Oh, I actually didn't like this and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's like I'm like pretty open. Like most of my shit is pretty public. Like if you want to criticize me, usually the most you can criticize me for is like people that I like get too close to me. Like that's probably fair, but re-listen to what Trent said. I think you misunderstood his point.
Stimulate them.
It's fine to use medical treatment to see if your body is working properly. Mm-hmm. It's fine to do things to acquire semen, for example. You might use, for example, with some patients, use electroejaculation.
Hold on. If Eris is going to shit on me in chat, I'm shitting on her. Eris said, big secret reveal. If you don't want him to eat your chocolate, get chocolate with mint on it. Huge attack on Eris's character. One thing that I bring up anonymously sometimes, and I don't name names, is Eris is one of the women who has said, I really like dark chocolate. And I got you the darkest chocolate, and that shit sat on your desk for months. I did notice that. Even when you put it in the dresser drawer, I noticed that you didn't eat that. So yeah, I am thinking about you as one of many people that say they like dark chocolate and they don't actually. So get exposed, motherfucker. Okay.
Medical treatment to see if your body is...
Why do another open relationship when you know it doesn't work? Well, if we're going by statistics, I've been in 4 or 5 failed closed relationships, and I was in one open relationship that lasted for 5 years. So I don't know.
It's working properly. It's fine to do things to acquire semen, for example. You might use, for example, with some patients, use electroejaculation stimulation of the prostate.
I have never heard of this in my entire life, and I don't believe that this is a real thing. When you go to sperm dono clinics and shit, don't you like jerk off in a cup or something? I don't know. I know someone in chat has gone here before. Don't they just like give you a cup and put you in a room and you masturbate? Do you actually, is it normal that you go to an office and they stick electrodes in your ass to like get you to orgasm? Is that true? This just seems like such a hyper specific fucking thing. Like,
Body is working properly. It's fine to do things to acquire semen, for example. You might use, for example, with some patients, use electroejaculation stimulation of the prostate in order to get. Well, for some patients, that's what you have to do, including if they're paralyzed.
okay, I understand what you just said was a way more hardcore kink than water sports, but okay, go ahead.
No, to see if you can ejaculate, to see if you're able.
Oh, because I'd given the example of like, what if a medical professional is trying to test your ability to ejaculate or for something for ED? And I know that they don't do this because obviously the crossing the relationship is inappropriate, but like, what if they jerked you off for this? Would that be okay? And he's like, no, a better way would be to stick electric rods in your ass and shock your prostate until you, ejaculate. Sorry, fuck. Oh, I accidentally scrolled down on this. People were speculating that Mel made you gay and you're actually a fake gay. Thoughts on this? I don't know how to counter that too. I was on that podcast, the Unfiltered one, and they were polite. But like, yeah, they're like, do you think bisexual people are real? And it's like, what am I fucking, so am I faking it when I'm sucking dick, or am I faking it when I'm fucking girls? Like what part of me, like, and it's also weird if you're not gonna like take, because obviously anything I say, they'll just say like, is cope. So it's like, okay, well, tell me how I feel, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. It just seems stupid. Like I don't even know how I'm supposed to respond to this. Like if you're automatically gonna discount like, if you're gonna automatically discount anything I say, yeah. Do you think attractiveness though makes it easier to open the door to a relationship, like the initial attractiveness? It can be, but like something I'll say of girls, I think this is true of men too, although I don't know if I'm getting mind fucked in red pill spaces, is girls can find a lot of guys in a very wide variety of body styles as being cute. Like, oh, like that dude is like so cute. I like this thing, or this guy's cute. It doesn't have to be a Giga Chad that initially, physically even, turns a girl onto a guy. I think that's pretty true of guys as well. I hope that they're not all like obsessed with BBLs and lip fillers now. I don't know if I'm getting too mind fucked in red spill in Miami space with that, but yeah. What was up with Trent and hentai? Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. 50% of your offline DG chat thinks the ADHD sentiment is over. Oh, hold on. What is this? What is more likely? ADHD, sentiment in DGG is being largely overdiagnosed. Neutral, the sentiment is largely underdiagnosed. Yeah, I'd probably agree with this. I think I would agree with this. There's probably too many people, that I think the way that Dr. Russell Barkley puts it is that like it's probably overdiagnosed, and that there's a lot of people that go with like just some inattentiveness that get a prescription for medication that don't need it. But there's probably a lot of people that actually have ADHD that don't go and get it. So it's like simultaneously overdiagnosed and underdiagnosed at the same time. I don't know if there's data to support his opinion on that or what, but yeah.
When planning the debate, would you have ever thought that Destiny would say bestiality is somehow better than killing an animal? That was somehow inadvertently stated or purposefully in the debate that bestiality is.
I don't even know how we got there. I think I started like staring off into space at some point because I'm like, why the fuck are we having an incest bestiality debate on the ethics of sex work?
Better than killing an animal. It's better to
Yeah, well,
have sexual acts with an animal than it is to kill them.
I'll discuss this in an episode. I already recorded this episode
Looking
a while
forward
ago.
to that coming out.
Yeah, so I'd already broached the topic because I wanted to talk about that.
I also really hate that Jesus.
Peter Singer referenced the bestiality article.
I wish you could just reference, or not reference, I wish you could just like argue with the point. Okay, you think that fucking an animal is worse than killing it. Explain why. All they can do is the moral dumbfounding argument, where they just like appeal to like, well, isn't that horrible? It's like, okay, well, justify it. I'm just curious. Would you rather have somebody fuck you? Would you rather have somebody, you know, lactate your fucking nipples in some factory for 4 years, you know, while fattening you up with growth hormone? Like, what would you rather prove? I don't pick it. Well, what do you think? But like I think Trent might have engaged with it. I think the Leela person is, I don't want to say that she's bad faith, but she definitely has like lines of argumentation that she sticks with incredibly rigidly and seems to have a hard time exploring things outside of those lines.
I anticipated and thinking in my head, well, how would they go about rebutting this? And I felt like, and I thought in my head before it would happen as we were sitting there, and I said, Jasmine, you'll probably, it was interesting in the engagement. I said, here's my argument, why is this wrong? Jasmine, I bet you would say this is why it's wrong. And she said, yes, I would say that. I'm like, okay, here's why that argument doesn't work. And then Destiny said, you're right, that isn't why the argument, why the argument doesn't work. And I anticipated that what Destiny often does is he'll just bite the bullet on claims. We did that before when we debated before.
I felt this a lot. I'm not going to fault them for debate strategy, and I don't want to attack Jasmine. Farha had this problem, although she had it way more. I have no problem biting a bullet because I know the argument's past the bullet biting. I'm not scared of like, if you want to say, well, wouldn't you be logically committed to this? But yeah, I am. So like, let's go to the next part and we can argue that. I can show you why. But it did feel like there were times when Jasmine was a little bit scared of biting a bullet and she's like arguing stuff. I was like, Jasmine, you kind of have to accept this. But like, I don't want to undermine my debate partner while we're doing it. So it's like really hard. But yeah. But like, yeah, I noticed that Leela and Trent were super fixated on arguing with Jasmine the entire time. So
if it leads to a morally repugnant conclusion, fine, whatever. Maybe it's not that morally repugnant. We have to get over our feelings about that situation. But I think many times there's a philosopher, Martha Nussbaum. No, sorry, this is Nussbaum's reply to this. But I think she's wrong. Leon Cass wrote an article called "The Wisdom of Repugnance," and that many times in bioethics,
great article.
Yeah, bioethics, that sense of repugnance can be a morally worthwhile intuition to discover whether something is in accord with human nature. So I did anticipate that they would probably just have to bite the bullet because their view of sexuality left them really no other options.
If consent is all that matters, then
Right.
when you test that sort of standard of consent, when it comes to animals, there's a lot of gray area, so it opens the door to bestiality.
Yeah.
A couple more comments. The Young Catholics, love you both. Trent, your wife is my fave. Isn't she great?
I'm at your door, open up. Oh, Abba, I swear to God, we're gonna go out to eat and we're gonna do everything. I haven't responded to any DMs in a long time. Fuck, hold on. I have to respond to yours. I'm so sorry. Hold on. Wait. Oh, yeah, it was Tuesday. Jasmine saying porn addiction isn't real was bizarre. Well, it's not like a DSM-5 recognized thing, but like, I think that's a pedantic point. We don't have to like, yeah, we could have just like engaged with the idea of porn addiction because there probably are some people that are addicted to porn, right?
Laura, Too Far with Thorhorn, shout out. Give her my love. The debate was amazing, and although I am biased,
Open relationships may appear to be a selling point at first, but they seem doomed to fail as underlying frustration would inevitably fester and end badly. I don't want to, I really just, it's so boring to me arguing the monogamy versus polyamory point because like everybody is, it's basically, it's like it's the emotional equivalent of arguing about circumcision, where when people argue about circumcision, they're really just talking about their dick. That's like all it is. And it's like, I'm not going to sit here and fight with like 10 circumcised guys over as an uncircumcised guy about whether circumcision is good or bad. This is like the biggest waste of time argument in the world. So yeah, I mean like I'll just say that basically anything you can say about poly or open relationships, there is a flip side that you can say about monogamous relationships, but most people like just cover their ears and they don't want to hear it. But I mean, like, I think if you were talking to a mature person, they could make that assessment. But the problem is a lot of you guys have really strong opinions on poly or open relationships, but you don't even have monogamous relationship experience. So it's like, well, I don't even know why I would argue against this, right? Like, frustration and stuff can fester in anything. Like, for instance, a really good point, I think I actually had this question on stream 4 or 5 days ago. I think this is on stream. Somebody asked me, or somebody had a post on the subreddit where they're like, hey, I've been dating a person for like a long time and I haven't dated anybody else ever. It was like my first or second partner and I'm worried I'm missing out, right? That's a really common complaint from monogamous people. They get together when they're like in high school. They've been dating one partner for 4 or 5 years, especially after going through college. They're like, fuck, did I miss a bunch of like cool experiences, or am I like cheating myself out of something, or should I have dated somebody else? And like, I don't know. That's a really common point. Now that issue doesn't exist really in open or poly relationships, but in a mono relationship, that could be a deal breaker. That could be an ender, right? Now, this isn't to say that like one is good or one is bad or one is preferable or one is not. Statistically speaking, I'm pretty sure, I think monogamous relationships have a higher success rate, although I'm not even sure how you would measure that. Yeah, I don't even know if that is actually measurable now that I think about it. Because like here would be a question I would have. Okay. Let's say that you have one guy and one girl and they're dating. And then let's say you have another guy and another girl and they're dating. Let's say that like this person is also dating somebody here and this person is also dating somebody here. What if it was the case that like these two people got together and they like, and so they ended these relationships and now they're dating each other. Like, was there a relationship failure here? Did something like not work out? So like statistically speaking, I don't even know how you would measure like failures in like open or poly relationships. I have no idea. Yeah, I don't even know how you would measure it. Like, let's say you have a person here and they're dating this person, and then let's say this person dates this person, and then they don't like him anymore and they break up, and they date this person, they don't like him anymore and they break up. But like these two stay together the whole time. Does that mean this relationship worked? I have no idea. I'm not asking like a rhetorical question like obviously the data can't be measured. I'm just saying it would be interesting in how you would even quantify like what is a successful or failed thing. You know, I have no idea. It seems pretty intuitive. No, open relationships require much more mature people for it to work because it opens the relationship to much more problems. Bob 7. You bring that up, but like Bob 7 wasn't a romantic relationship problem, I don't think. That was a problem of friendship. And that same problem can exist in a ton of monogamous relationships. In fact, I would argue that venting to non-partners is probably one of the bigger threats to all relationships, polyamorous or monogamous. I think it's a really big threat when your partner starts venting to friends or other people. Yeah, but that's a huge problem for monogamous relationships as well. That's not even unique to poly stuff. There is going to be some stuff unique to poly stuff for sure. I'm not going to say there's nothing, but yeah. Let's see. I'm 43 and in a swinger relationship. Just went to an orgy this weekend. Been in the lifestyle for several years. I'm willing to talk about it. Cool. Wait, here's Trent addressing his comment about your breakup.
So.
I think I might mention one more thing. I think some people were critical of me because at one point I was critical of Destiny's polyamorous relationship. And they said like, and it's come out now that he and his wife, who've been involved in polyamory, are getting divorced, saying like that was a low blow, something to go after. And it was not something I planned to bring up. I planned not to talk about that. But I felt it was justified because I felt that Destiny made a uncharitable jab. We were talking about the issue of consent, and he just straight up said, well, you don't understand consent because you're religious. And he had frequently been using essentially ad hominem attacks. You're wrong because you're religious. You're bad because you're religious. And then by saying, you don't understand consent because you're religious is a way of saying because you're religious, you're like indifferent to rape. Because if you don't understand consent, what does that mean?
Damn, that's a big jump. That's a really big jump, but okay.
I mean, that means that you're going to have some kind of problematic view towards rape. And that's when I said, no, the person who doesn't understand the nature of consent is you. And I felt then at that point, it's fair to bring up if you're going to attack something.
Yeah, but like, how is anything in my relationship related to consent? Like, if we'd broken up because like one of us had been accused of rape, that would be fair. But like, how it's like not even.
It's important to me, my religion, and say it leads to something bad. I'm going to publicly point out that something you believe in, that it's perfectly fine for your spouse to have sex with other people, that this leads to very bad things, and that you've promoted this destructive behavior that some people might imitate it to their own detriment. And I think it's good to point out it's for whom the bell tolls.
I don't know. I did replay this interaction a lot in my head because the most charitable interpretation I can run with is that religion is one of those things. I thought about this a lot with Sneeko because me and Sneeko have actually had back and forth on this too, and I had a similar interaction with Sneeko where I would attack Sneeko saying like, hey, if you were meeting somebody's daughter and they were Muslim, they wouldn't want you to date their daughter. You don't fit into that lifestyle. And Sneeko took that as a personal attack. I was like, well, now I'm going to shit on you for your wife and your kid. And in my mind, these things there are lots of levels between like the personal attack versus like the broad like macro ideology. But then I'm thinking like, well, maybe it's not different for some people. Is that my fault? Is that their fault? I don't know. I will forever shit on Myron's approach to relationships. I think that one-sided open relationships are toxic. I think they're stupid. I think the advice he gives is bad, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But like, if it comes to the fact, or if it comes out that like Myron and Angie break up, I'm not going to dance on their relationship. Like, see, that relationship fucking ended because of his one-sided open shit, blah, blah. Like, I don't know their fucking relationship. I don't know what's going on. They might have ended for some totally different fucking reason, right? I have no fucking idea, right? I'm not like, I'll criticize his macro ideas and his approach, but I'm not going to like go in on like his personal shit. And I think even the same with Sneeko. I don't know if I've ever made personal comments about his relationships. But I might have after things got unhinged between both of us, maybe. But I don't know. I don't think I have, but I might have. I'm not, yeah. We're sorry to hear about the end of your relationship, Condole. Oh, it's fine. Everything's fine. Okay. Sorry. You still going unscuffed? Yeah, for sure. I'm 28 and went back to uni for a second in computer science. This is like college 2.0 for me. Thing is, I work from home, so college would in theory be amazing for me to socialize, but in reality, I feel way older than everyone around me, and I'm not really interested in girls that much younger. Okay, well, do a master's program? I don't know. Everybody in college is going to be 18 to 22. When is your next trip? Right now, I have nothing planned for December. Maybe early, mid-January. January 10th? Do you think you are showing a certain image now for us or for the internet, but you're actually unstable/depressed? Or is it true that you are okay, just like you're showing yourself right now? I just want to make sure you are fine. Wow, thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. For better or for worse, pretty much everything I show online is authentic. I don't fake anything. Like 2 weeks ago, I was mega spiraling, but that's why I didn't stream. And I think I said as much for 5 days. Like, I'm not streaming. I'm like hardcore sorting through a lot of shit, a lot of feelings I have relating to Mel, relating to this other dude, relating to our relationship, relating to myself. Like, there was a whole bunch of shit that I was like double backing on, thinking about spiraling. But I'm not gonna stream when I'm like in a super mega fucking depressed mood, or like having like breakdowns on stream, or like I'm just not gonna stream. Yeah, but I would never like fake my happiness. Yeah, I'm not gonna like fake being happy for stream. Yeah, I feel okay. Bench Burner Dr. Phil show still happening, I think, in January. It's all, ain't no way you aren't taking a Christmas Day break. Maybe. I might go hang out with my family because they're like a 40-minute drive away. Yeah. Does this mean more time for D&D? Maybe, we'll see. Would you ever date an asexual? Would I date an asexual? Like, I'm not gonna say no. Like, that's possible. Like, the really important things for me, for a main partner, is I like to have somebody that I can see throughout the day, because I'm a very physical person. I like grabbing somebody, touching somebody. I like somebody that I can sleep with, like, because I enjoy cuddling with somebody at night. It sucks sleeping alone. It's kind of lonely. And ideally, like, somebody you can like share thoughts, ideas, and kind of like a life with. Those are like the really important things for me. If I theoretically was like dating an asexual and then I like fucked a bunch of other people, I mean, I guess I could. I would still feel weird about, like I said, any type of one-sided relationship, or when the boundaries get significantly different for both people. That feels really strange to me. So I don't know if it would work in practice, but like, I wouldn't say that, I wouldn't say 100% that I would never do this or it would work. I'm not sure. Is it a coincidence that this happened 2 years after your marriage? For instance, the green card. Yeah, this is something that like I can't. If you have ideas about Mel and what she is and what she's doing, that she's like a money-hungry gold digger looking for green cards, you just don't understand anything about her. But again, you don't have the ability to understand women or individuals because you already run it through this insane red pill lens, and it prohibits you from like understanding other people. So, but there's also nothing I can say to convince you out of it, right? Like, it doesn't even make any sense. Like, your theory can explain literally every single behavior that Mel has. She could do anything and you would say it's red pill. If she dumps me for a richer guy, it's because she was always looking to upgrade. If she dumps me for a poorer guy, it's alpha fucks beta bucks. If she doesn't dump me and stays with me, she's using for my money. If she does dump me, it's because she wants to take half in the divorce. If she dumps me but doesn't take any money in the divorce, it's because she didn't respect me anyway. There's like, no matter what, if one thing you should always think about is if you're making predictions about the future and literally if anything happens, your theory can explain it, it's probably a bad prediction, right? Because an economist will take a formula and they'll retrofit it to see if it makes accurate predictions. And if you've got something that predicts everything, it really doesn't predict anything. So, yeah. What do you mean when you say spiraling? I would say that in general, emotions are really hard to get a hold of when they start to run down a certain path. And when you start feeling something emotionally, you can do or fall into behaviors that are reinforcing those negative emotions, and you can continue to spiral on that path. So you might get an idea of, here's an example. You might think like, oh my God, I think my girlfriend is cheating on me. And then you go and check your Snap Maps and you see that she's at a restaurant. It's like, oh my God, she's with a guy. And then you check her Instagram and you saw that like 2 weeks ago, she responded to some guy and she's like, oh my God, she's like, and you could actually invent like a whole new thing that is not even close to resembling what's going on. And then when you finally confront the person on it, you've already built like all of this shit up. And then it's like, fuck. And then everything. Yeah. So yeah, I think spiraling is for that. In my head, I usually just start thinking of like, what are the absolute worst things that can happen? And like, what about past that and past that? And then I start to get into like a really weird mindset where I'm like, yeah, but I realize I'm spiraling. I just need to like do something different. What's going to happen with monetary compensation? You just pay for not signing a prenup. I know that everybody's like really obsessed with this talking point. I don't think Mel is getting any of my money. We signed a post-nuptial agreement. Our marriage was short-term. We don't have any kids or shared assets. People are very, very, very interested in that, but no, there's nothing, there's no talk of, like, yeah, she's never mentioned, like, wanting to fight for anything. We've already signed a post-nuptial agreement, like, yeah, but people think you promote and advocate poly or people, when in reality, I've heard you say you just personally poly, and I understand people. Can you clarify for the people who are misrepresenting you? I don't know if there's any point in clarifying. I already said these things like a million times. Like, I don't advocate for my relationship stuff. I don't advocate for almost anything I do in life. I think I'm a relatively exceptional person, like exception to the rule, not better than you, although I am. I'm a relatively exceptional person in a lot of ways. I don't recommend a lot of what I do for my lifestyle for like other people. So yeah, but anytime I say something, people take it as like, yes, she said everyone should do this. I was like, oh, okay. I mean, if you, like, if that's what you think, like, knock yourself out. Talk about the Jubilee thing. I mean, like, it was boring. Or it wasn't, like, bombastic. It was just, like, a middle ground episode. It was okay. Did you take up the offer with Epic Mealtime for 5 hands? I don't know what offer you made or do. I did get, oh, my God. I didn't even know they made these blue ones, the 60 milligram ones. This is I need to get more of these. Bro, flowers for algae. I have to get a different diagnosis. Fuck me. I'm going to run out of these, and I'm going to hate my life. Oh, my God. I just see myself, like, well, guys, time for hour 7,000 of Factorial, where we watch this video on, like, you know, everything but the kitchen sink, reviewing House MD, and it's like, fuck me. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm working on a different doctor, so we'll see, hopefully. Jesus Christ. What's in this cast of Kick or Keep? I haven't even seen it yet. Harley said you would let him do an epic mealtime in your kitchen? Oh, yeah, I mean, if you ever wanted to, yeah, for sure. But, sorry, there we go. Yeah, he didn't have to give me anything for that. Not that he did give me anything, by the way. All of that is a meme, and none of that actually happened. And this is all just entertainment for you guys to watch and enjoy. Have you noticed amphetamines negatively impact your optics or debate style? For 2 examples, compare the Whatever podcast prior debate to the most recent. Then there's the Vosh and Majority Report, girl who's never forgot. You appear quicker to anger first and for longer, less coherent, even when your arguments are strong. I don't agree with that at all. I don't think that's true at all. Michael Knowles reacting to you. Okay, hold on. What the fuck is this? How's the weight going with the Vyvanse? It's going great. I'm going to 145, and then we're hitting the gym up again. Hopefully mid-January. I should just start running again at the least, but... Bump. What are we doing? Hold on. Somebody said, do amphetamines make you less horny? I mean, like, I feel like I can control it better. Okay. How are you able to halt the spiraling? For me, there's 2 things. So I can give you strategies, but I'm going to be totally honest with you, and I'm going to say that for whatever reason, I'm very, 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 very lucky that my mental baseline is very high. So generally, if I'm ever in a really, really, really bad place mentally, I know that if I sleep, when I wake up, I'll always feel better. I don't know if that's true for everybody, so take that with a grain of salt. But that has always been the case for me, thank God. But I would say to prevent spiraling, a few things. One is talking to friends can help, but don't just dwell on your problems, vent a little bit and then talk to somebody else, number one. And then number two is I think it is incredibly important to cut the other person out of your life in as many ways possible that trigger you. So one of the instances, so for instance, I kept saying that like, I'm gonna stream, and then I would say, I can't stream, I got triggered. When I say I got triggered, what I actually meant is I started checking other social media and shit, and then I started catastrophizing, and then I started spiraling. I was like, fuck, my mood is destroyed for the day. Why did I even fucking do this? Yeah, if you're hung up over like a person, like literally block them. Yeah, block them. Don't look at their shit, because if you do that, you'll send yourself down like bad roads. Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, the best way to stop spiraling is to stop the start of spiraling, because once you start, that's why it's called spiraling. It's because it's hard to stop it. Yeah. Keep your protein high, do light gym work. You'll get shredded as you lose weight. Don't lose your muscle. That's the hard work. That's way too late. My muscle is gonzo garbanzo. I'm like a stick again. But I imagine it shouldn't be that hard to get it back, I guess, but fuck it. Do you know that Lav is hanging out every night on Gistical Stream with Orbiters? That's not surprising. Listen, Lav is good content, okay? Have you ever killed anyone? Just your mom. Good one. Does sex feel different on Adderall? I will say that it does. Yeah, but I would be very careful with that. I don't want to go into that because that could be an abuse vector. Huge pro tip for spiraling: if you can at all, either drag yourself out or get friends to drag you out. Even going for a quiet walk makes a big difference. Yeah, sure. Like whatever you can do to stay busy and get your mind off things. Are ADHD meds an actual weight loss option? So here's how ADHD meds help me, but they can also work in a lot of different ways. So be careful with what I say. For me, I just don't feel as strong of an impulse to snack or eat random shit. So like before, if like something is laying around or if I pass by the fridge, like I want to grab something, I have like that impulse, like I want to get blah, 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 blah. If I'm in an airport, I'll buy cookies. I just don't feel that impulse anymore. Now, if your dose is high enough, you could forget to eat, or you're like starving yourself, or not drinking water. So weight loss could be a positive effect of amphetamine use, or weight loss could be a negative side effect of amphetamine use. So it's really important in your mind that you identify what's happening, right? If you've stopped like the impulse eating, but you're still eating normal meals and you're keeping hydrated and all of that, then that's fine. But if it's just like you just like starve yourself for 12 hours, that's not fine. Yeah, so it's important if you're losing weight on an amphetamine, you need to be sure of like, is it for the good reason or the bad reason? Because one can be positive, one can be a negative side effect. Just, be careful with that. Okay, listen, things happen. How many IRL friends do you have? I don't know, a decent amount. Enough people to talk to. Do you think long distance is doable? No, absolutely not. Do not ever do a long distance relationship. Statistically speaking, you're better off with poly and open relationships than long distance relationships. Distance and time will always destroy every single relationship. Don't ever do that. It's not a good idea. I'm giving you this is the most strong feeling I have on relationships in my entire life. That's really, really, really bad. Because when people are around other people in proximity, they'll develop feelings for them, even if they love you, and things will happen, and it's just like not good, yeah. Do you think things would not have gone downhill if you spent more time in Sweden, or we already used something apart? Oh, for Mel? Maybe. I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't know if I could ever move to Europe. It's just like I would have to stay awake at weird hours. The tax situation would be a nightmare. The paperwork would be annoying. I travel to US a lot for podcasts and shit. Like, I don't know. I think you have to outline why it's bad to show on someone's personal life versus the idea. The reason using personal relationships as ammo is bad is because you're assuming a lot of details about their life and assigning a narrative that you have low certainty to think is true, which can cause a lot of harm. You risk creating a public narrative about them that isn't true, which can gaslight someone about abuse or wrong treatment. Talking about ideas doesn't pose a risk. Maybe. I mean, that is partially why, but I also think there's like a mutual respect thing in not digging into somebody's personal life, even if it does fit your example well. But yeah, I don't know how to think about it. I'm not sure. Yeah. Have you ever tried Viagra? I have, and while, yeah, it improves your ability to last longer, it makes me less funny. I have not tried Viagra. I don't think I would ever try a sex drug. I would be if I was to ever get addicted on anything in my life, it would be something related to sex. So the idea of like doing Viagra and finding like, oh my God, Like, I'm never getting soft ever again. Yeah, that would be super scary to me. And you jungle. How to stop taking Adderall because my donger stopped working. Beware. Okay. You also could have been on too high dose, but whatever. Okay. Why would you want to be less horny? You waste too much time of the day chasing girls or masturbating. Is the Anna Kasparian combo still happening? Maybe. Screw League, play. Or there's no plan right now. Screw League, play Eternal, rerun, or return. That's so much better. Okay. Are you gonna watch the Dick and Maddox drama? Maybe.
Something else to consider. I think Kelly might have a lot of latency, so maybe dipping in between the silence might be affected there.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh. I don't know what you mean. What is wait and see? Like, I try and wait for a gap, and then sometimes people just take a longer time to respond.
Nice. Destiny, she blocked you though. I don't know what this in response to. Red pill guys are dumb, but they're obviously correct about open relationships. You constantly say this happens in closed too, but it's obviously infinitely more likely in an open relationship. Okay, sure. I don't. Listen, think what you think. I don't have to argue with that. Okay. Thoughts on the Orbiter stream while you're away? Pretty fucking cool note. Community feels like its own beast even without movies. Sure, yeah. Why are you not hitting the gym again? Honestly, because all of this personal shit over the past like month or two, my free time is is very, very limited, and my gym stuff fits in like very neatly in one spot. Like I said, like my ideal schedule is like I should be like waking up at 9, like from 9 to 9:30 is like reading. From like 9:30 to 11 should be like gym. From 11 to 12 should be like it's my time for meetings, emails, and messages to catch up on that. From 12 to 10 should be stream. 10 to 11 should be doing emails and messages because I try to do 12 hours for emails. Should be emails and messages again, and then maybe meetings at night. And then 11 to like 12:30 is kind of like my relationship time or hangout time. And then 1 o'clock should be sleep. If I'm going through like any kind of drama or shit is like getting fucked in my life, I try not to let it impact stream first. So I try to keep hitting my hours. If something is really dramatic or really bad, or if I'm not streaming, that means I'm definitely taking away from everything else is falling apart too. So if there are days where like I'm not streaming, it's not like I'm hitting everything and then I'm just like, oh, I just won't stream right now. It probably means that like all of my other time is being bled into and getting fucked with whatever stupid shit is going on. So, yeah. Since you've cocked and etched some Max, what's the content tonight? Kick or keep? Are you gonna start living with a girl in a month? We'll see. Hopefully not. I don't know, bro. We'll see. What's the what's that Reddit post? I'm swearing off our relationships. Was Mel upset about you medicating? No, I don't think anybody in my life is upset about that. Are you now going to become a passport bro? I don't think I could ever talk to a woman with a huge language barrier or somebody that I like felt like I significantly outranked in terms of like anything. I don't think I could handle that. I need somebody that's like kind of that I feel like is kind of like on my level. I feel like Mel generally is. I don't know. Watch the Lav and Erudite convo. I'm good. Who's the mysterious last guest for Scuffed? I have no idea. You often describe yourself as exceptional in a lot of ways. Does this ever lead to feeling an isolation or alienation within? If so, how do you manage those feelings? A little bit. It's kind of hard to figure out like when you're the exception and when you're the rule, because obviously like a lot of people bullshit themselves into thinking that they're the exception when they're really the rule. And even I fall into that trap sometimes. But because of the way that a lot of people talk about things, that's like a very, very, very difficult thing to sort through. I've noticed that a lot, and it's actually gotten to the point where I get super triggered. And it's funny because I'm getting triggered the exact same way that I would get triggered in high school and college when it comes to ADHD talk. Because I've noticed for a lot of the symptoms of ADHD, when you have ADHD in a really severe way especially, there are ways that it manifests that everybody says it does. but it absolutely doesn't, right? Like I remember talking to kids and I'm like, bro, fuck, I don't study at all. And they're like, oh yeah, like me neither. Like I never study. And then they'll get like a 98 on like some exam that's like heavy in rote memorization. I was like, damn, how'd you do this? Like, yeah, over the past week we were doing study groups. So thankfully, you know, like on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we studied for 4 hours each day. It's like, you study for fucking 12 hours for this test? What the fuck? Are you serious? Like people would make comments like that all the time. It would drive me fucking crazy where people say, oh yeah, like I have all these problems too. I can't do this as well. Like, oh, I always forget about homework. What do you mean you always forget about homework? You've turned in every single assignment on time this year except for like 2. What do you mean you always forget about homework? And they're like, well, one time I did the wrong page number. And it's like, bro, kill yourself. Okay, fuck you. Yeah. For ADHD, there's a lot of people who like, I don't know if they're just doing it because it's like popular. Oh my God, it's the 21 Jump Street movie. Fuck me. Maybe people don't do this in school anymore. Way back in the day, okay, I don't know how much of this is 21 Jump Street or not, okay? I'm being honest with you, I don't know. Back in my day, it was cool not to do anything. You don't want to be somebody trying, okay? Trying is so cringe. Trying is so cringe. What, you don't want to like, I don't fucking study. I don't do any of this shit. That's fucking cringe. So people would say shit like that, but they do. They do a lot of shit. I'm like, motherfucker, right? Yeah, where are your guys' massive discrepancies on like standardized testing versus grades or homework assignments? Like, where's your massive discrepancy based on like the type of class you're in or whatever? Like, where's your massive fucking issue like doing this or that or that? And people always complain about shit, but like that's not really, Not to say that not everybody's like that, but yeah, for my life, like the ADHD shit was definitely a huge like mind fuck because people would always say they have the same types of problems, but they're like not even in the same fucking ballpark. Okay, not even remotely close. But yeah. Destiny, physical attractiveness is mostly objective and is the most important factor when it comes to choosing mates for both sexes. Stop fucking coping with different preferences. Your beauty is objective. Okay, Captain Black Pillar. Listen, if you want to move through life like that, go for it. You don't have to listen to anything I'm saying. If you believe that, believe it. I mean, what do you want me to say? Is Ritalin similar to amphetamines for appetite? I don't know. Ritalin and Concerta are methylphenidate, and amphetamines are amphetamines. I think they're usually dextroamphetamine and some other, for Adderall, it's a few other ones. I don't know if methylphenidate affects your appetite in the same way that an amphetamine stimulant does. I don't know. I've already answered this, but are you willing to try and open a relationship again? Yeah, it's just the style of relationships I would do. I don't think I would ever do a monogamous relationship, but maybe in like 5 or 10 years, maybe my feelings will change on that. I don't know. I genuinely mean no disrespect and don't want to prod any wounds, but there is an honest question I have. You started off saying that you want to keep it open because you think you are the best fit for your partner, and if you aren't, you wouldn't want her to stay with you. Has your idea on that changed, or is there some nuance I'm missing? No, I think my idea still feels the exact same way. Like I've always said as much, like there are different people that have different qualities, and if you want something different than what I can offer, then yeah, go to a different person. Like I don't want to keep somebody like a miserable fuck relationship, or where they feel like there's a huge mismatch on like certain traits. Like I still feel the same way about that. Obviously that can suck if you like another person and they leave and you want them to stay around or some shit. But I mean, that's, you know, I'd rather that, and then you go through kind of like the pain of like a separation, if that happens, versus like keeping somebody like stuck with you forever because they, you know, you have a kid or you're married or some other shit. In my opinion, that's how I view it. But I understand that not everybody feels the same way. Do you think parents these days are just doing a better job today at making kids try at school? No idea. Have you ever abused Benadryl? No. I don't think I've ever abused any drug. I've done a lot of drugs recreationally, but I've never been like I have to do this every day, or I feel like an addiction, or for recreational use on things. Yeah. Fuck, hold on. Ever huffed paint? I have not ever huffed paint. Wait, does this not work? Oh shit, fuck me. Are we done with most of this? Did you see Russell Barkley's criticism of the DSM-5 diagnostic criteria for ADHD? They're quite scathing. He thinks inattentiveness / hyperfocusing are almost useless diagnostic criteria, and that ignoring the emotional component of ADHD is essentially missing the core of the dysfunction. I've not seen that, so I can't comment on it. You claimed on Fresh and Fit that your marriage is obviously strong since you married her without a prenup. Have I ever said that, ever? If I've said that, that's a really stupid statement. Have I ever made a statement like that? I would need to see the context of that statement. Whether or not you want to sign a prenup or not, I don't think speaks ever to like the strength of a relationship. You did on Lex Friedman? Oh, so I was probably making a joke. Yeah, if you want to, yeah, whether or not you sign a prenup doesn't have anything to do with the strength of a relationship. There are definitely some people, especially when you get into like higher asset classes, especially once you get into higher asset classes, I could definitely understand why some people like want to sign a prenup. I don't think it ever speaks to the strength or the lack thereof of strength of a relationship if you if you choose to sign a prenuptial agreement or not. If amphetamines make you jumpy, is it proof that you don't have ADHD? No, I don't think so. If you're titrating, going up and down a medication, you check for side effects, you check for benefits, and you talk to your doctor, I guess. Yeah. Is that what you think Mella's doing, or do you believe she's just going through a phase? She might be. I mean, I hope she is to some extent. I don't know. Listen, I can't speak to Mella's thought process. I have things I hope. I don't know. That's why I'm obviously, who knows? Especially now that I've made everything public. Like, if we do get back together, now it's really weird for both of us. So that was my fault for making this. Who knows? You know, who knows what the future holds? We got other shit to worry about. How long have you been on Adderall, and has the euphoria phase ended? For about a month and a half. And yeah, the euphoria phase for me ended in like 2 or 3 days. This is the clip about the prenup thing.
You guys have a high degree of confidence that your marriage will last for decades?
I mean, I married her without a prenup. So like, yeah, I mean, like, I'm joking, right? Like, obviously. Or, well, like, I'm half joking. I mean, like, yeah, I didn't marry her with a prenup. I don't think it would happen. But, like, this is way different than me saying, if you marry somebody without a prenup, you don't have, like, faith in the relationship. You're, like, hardcore, you're hardcore reading, like, a huge prescription there, right? In terms of, yeah, in terms of, like, if there's a girl that's like, oh, did you guys hook up last night? I'm like, yeah. And it's like, oh, did you both show each other STD tests first? And I'm like, no, fuck it, I trust this girl. To say that, like, Destiny, you said that if you trust people, you would never check an STD test. That's not analogous. That's not even close to analogous. Yeah. Yeah. You've made a lot of comments about your relationship being stronger than red pillars. That's why we're here. You have to fall on your sword a little bit, or else we'll continually say it's cope. Again, for a group of people that are virgins largely and have never had relationship experience, why would I ever have you guys say anything is cope in my life? Again, I'm very open about all of my life shit. Do you know what the real cope is? The real cope is you saying that I'm coping, because in your mind, different thought patterns can't exist. You're the one coping, because in your mind, there's no way anybody can actually believe it. There's no way anybody, it doesn't make any sense, because you lack the ability to predict or understand the world. You have to say that things that disagree with you are copes, right? I can't help you with that. I can't do anything. I can't respond to somebody screaming cope, 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 whatever. Yeah, there's nothing I can say. Like, again, like, all of my shit is like really public, and it has been for a long fucking time. My life has borne itself out to be the way that it is. If you like, you can accuse me of a lot of things, but like being a liar or whatever, or coping about shit, like, is not like, yeah, it's just, it doesn't fit with any of my, yeah, stuff. Also, I don't know if I've necessarily said my relationship is stronger than red pillars, although I could see myself saying that. But also, I think I could still say that, right? I would still argue that, like, if you've had a history of like a 5-year relationship, which I've had multiple long-term relationships, that's a stronger history of relationships than somebody that has like 1 year is like the longest they've dated somebody, right? But it also depends on like how your relationships went and everything too. So yeah, I don't know. Do you think it's important to be on medication if you have ADHD? If you have ADHD, like it's confirmed, diagnosed, and it's like having impacts on your life or whatever, I think medication is probably pretty important. But that's a conversation that you should have with your doctor. Yeah, figure that out. Are you interested in moving out of Miami? The thing is that right now I really like the East Coast because it does put me on a really good time zone for streaming. If I moved to the West Coast, it's gonna put me like 3 hours outside of it's gonna put me 3 hours outside of the West, or I'm sorry, outside of Europe, which is really rough. Yeah, I don't know. Wait, hold on. Daniel Tan, $20. For what it's worth, I feel you going through any relationship, really much less a divorce, it's already difficult. Going through it publicly and having a bunch of people trying to make value judgments, like, it is what it is. Wait, hold on. Apparently I missed this one. I saw somebody type this on my other screen on my Kick chat. Why avoided the age gap question? Wait, what is the age gap question? What did I miss? Destiny, I'm married and we have sex with girls together. The virgin stuff doesn't work on me. I've never agreed with your relationship takes, and this confirmed it for me. I just want to hear you say fully open relationships don't really work. Okay, well, come back to me when your girl ditches you because she turns into a lesbian, my dude. Have fun. Okay. Hold on one second. Just curious if any of your thoughts on age gaps have changed. No, not at all. No. That's another thing that like Red